Gather around, freaks. It's the 200th episode. We have to climb this antenna to watch the Bond Man take out the Bean Man. Everything is gold here, including the show. So gather around your internet transponder and gather around the internet license to kill, because it's time for the 200th episode of Hey, Did You See This One?
Hello, 007. You're about to embark on a high-stakes mission that could shake the foundations of pulp culture. Your objective: dive into a certain franchise with a sharp, action-packed analysis. Infiltrate the world of espionage and glitz, dissecting the cunning of your foes, the allure of your vehicles, and your iconic gadgets. Prepare to tackle sensitive topics that could spark heated debates. Everything from the ethics of MI6 to the subtext in Goldfinger. This mission captures the essence of danger and allure. Your findings may attract the attention from rival podcasters and covert organizations. Harness your charisma, stay cool under pressure, and create a podcast that leaves the listeners breathless. Good luck, 007, because this month, Hey, Did You See This One? Invites you to the big book of British bonds.
Hello and welcome. Oh, wait, what was that? I heard something.
I've heard that there's some really interesting things happening over at Hey, Did You See This One? Apparently 200 episodes? That's kind of crazy and very impressive. I mean, you're really getting close to the OG Naruto series run, and you know, that's a feat in and of itself. I brought my notes so that I don't accidentally talk for 3 hours of rambling. First off, I want to say shout out to our hosts, Jason and Steven. Thank you so much for everything that you do. I know that watching movies is a very taxing and difficult job, but thank you for sacrificing your time to make sure that we get great content. But seriously, it takes a lot to put on a podcast, a lot of organizing, a lot of note-taking, getting the right people together, having good conversations, and you guys really crush it. I've been able to meet so many amazing people because of this podcast, because of what you do, and because you decided that I would be good on a podcast. Verdict's still out, by the way. I'm not exactly sure. Say thank you for giving Luna a platform. She's here somewhere. I mean, very well deserved. She's been really wanting the spotlight for a long time, and thankfully she's got a few hours now on the internet of taking over the camera. In closing, just want to say thank you for everything. Congratulations on 200 episodes. It's actually pretty amazing. And I can't wait to come back again for some spooky goodness very soon. Love you guys. I totally didn't have to bribe her with treats in order to say hi. Luna, can you say hi? Yeah, good job. There you go. Precious angel. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Gotta make her work for it.
Yay.
Yay.
Thanks, Cass.
Cass. Hello and welcome to Hey, Did You See This One? Episode 200, the weekly roundtable reaction review discussion podcast where we just have to ask the question, hey, did you see this one? On this show, we take a film and completely pull it apart, leaving no stone unturned. We're your co-hosts. I am Jace Golden and Phillips. Joined as always by Stephen Boba Blackfly Waters. Like I said, this is episode
That's
200.
me.
I have a huge reveal about me being like, it's season 3, blah, blah, blah. It's season 3, episode 51, and I'm ending it here. This is it. The reason I did this is their season finale, and we're not doing any more seasons. I wanted to line it up with our 5-year anniversary, which happens in October. So going forward, it'll be season 4, season 5 on a yearly cadence. So thank you all for playing at home.
Yeah, I think you're the only one playing this game.
I was the only one playing this game. We are covering Goldeneye this week. The big book of British Bonds is closing once again. I think we're going to bring this back as a yearly thing because it is a fun month.
Well, we did it twice this year, and I'm down to do it twice a year because there's a lot of bonds to get through.
So many, like 26.
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome back to the show, though, Jameel Robinson. Jameel Robinson is back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back.
His future's so bright, he's got to wear shades.
Gotta wear shades.
You can find Jameel all over the United Federation of Podcasts, specifically on shows like Mary Marvel Mater. Nope. Super Mater Bros, Survivor Pod, all of the Star Trek stuff. You have your own podcast that is basically vaporware, but it's coming.
I love it. You know what? It shows how impressive the 200 episodes are when my own podcast, which has started this year in January, has a grand total of 1 episode released. And second episode is basically going to be trashed. And the third episode is currently being edited, which I lost 16 minutes of content because I forgot to turn on my microphone. So it just goes to show. You see the professionals do it. This amazing production, right? Congratulations.
Well, we appreciate you coming back, and we look forward to episode 2 in January. your yearly episode, your yearly show. I appreciate you coming back on. You should be on this show a lot more because you're a movies guy. If you listen to the pre-show tonight, Jameel and I went in depth about video game, Nintendo, Goldeneye stuff, which was a good conversation show. So go check that out if you can find it. But it is our 200th episode. We are going to be doing a lot of talking tonight, and through that, you're gonna see us talk. Where's the fucking ding dong?
I moved it to the top to make it easier.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Oh.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Steven. Dave Mater here. And I just wanted to send you guys a big congratulations on hitting your 200th episode of Hey, Did You See This One? That's an incredible milestone. And you've built something truly special. And I am very proud of you guys. Glad to call you my friends. I've had the pleasure of joining you on your show twice. Maybe not enough, but once was to talk about James Bond in the Living Daylights, and the other time was to talk about Jumanji. And both of you are always a blast, and I've got to say, I heard those episodes that I was on had some of the highest view counts ever. Just saying, maybe it's time to bring me back for a 3rd episode. I'm available, gentlemen. Let's break another record. It's been awesome collaborating with you guys across the United Federation of Podcasts, whether it's having you on Live Long and Podcast or Super Mater Brothers or Trivial Debates, where you both have brought your A game over and over. Jason, you've been a regular with us on our Survivor coverage over on Super Mater Brothers, and with season 49 kicking off this week, I am very excited to keep that going with you. And Steven, your voice work on Star Trek Radio Theater and elsewhere has been phenomenal. You guys bring your characters to life in a way that is unforgettable, and it is so well done. You've created a show that's smart, it's entertaining, and it's a cornerstone of our podcast community. So here's to 200 more episodes and to keeping that going, because we're all watching, listening, and loving it. So live long and podcast, my friends, and congratulations once again. We'll see you around.
Yay! Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Dave is the grandpappy of the United Finisher podcast, and he's very supportive of all our endeavors. And we'll have him back real soon, because it's true. Some of the highest view counts
Yes.
are Dave Mater. It's great.
It's
You
the
love
Mater effect.
the Mater effect. His new podcast where he goes complete alt-right pipeline.
No.
With that said, we should do a brief synopsis of Goldeneye, I think.
Okay.
It's time for a synopsis, bitch.
I hit the wrong button, but I guess Freddy Krueger's early this year.
I have to put this here for my marker. Hi, Zardos. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Steve, would you like to give us a brief synopsis of GoldenEye 007?
Okay. So GoldenEye is a motion picture starring Pierce Brosnan as James Bond, our favorite spy. And in this adventure of James Bond, he is basically trying to stop a satellite that can cause like an EMP to go off, but it also, when the EMP goes off, it also blows everything up somehow. I don't know how it works, but he's working against sort of these defected Soviet Russia era people who were basically in the Soviet Union, and now they're working for the Russian government, and they're betraying their own government in order to use this device. And they're joined by, spoiler alert, if you don't want to get spoiled on GoldenEye, I'm going to tell you right now that 006, played by Sean Bean as Trevelyan, he pretends to get shot in the head, and it turns out that he's actually evil, and he was a son of Nazis who were executed by the British government, and now he wants revenge on Britain. And then he gets crushed by the satellite at the end. It's great.
Yeah. Also, it's like a nuke. GoldenEye is also a nuke somehow. It's treated like a WMD. But an EMP that explodes everywhere is pretty
It
accurate.
shoots like a pulse down to the earth and short circuits everything and erases computers and basically gets rid of any data while also destroying whatever it's hitting. And his plan is to hit the British, or all of England basically, in order to not only erase all financial information, but to give himself a whole shitload of money while also removing any kind of information that's stored on computers, including things like criminal records and tax information. All of that stuff will be completely erased, so he can basically go through life as a super evil billionaire or whatever. Pretty good plan, but you didn't think about one thing. Natalia, she's the hero of this movie. Yeah, she's a real thorn in his side. She should have got rid of her at the beginning.
But
yeah,
she tastes like strawberries.
Yeah, oh god.
Oh no.
Congratulations to the gang at Hey, did you see this one? On your 200th episode.
Yeah. That was Jacob and Aaron. They've both been on the show in the early days. Aaron sent that along for us. That the picture of them is from literally high school, and he used the GoldenEye of AI there for that one. That's the only AI on the whole episode. Just a disclaimer to everybody.
I keep saying stop using it, and yet it happens every episode at least once.
But I wanted to include that because it looks terrible and horrible. Cool. So we could probably go into our brief histories, because I think that we're all going to have stuff to say about this particular film.
A brief history, you say?
A brief history.
Oh, okay.
A brief history.
That's right. So basically, during the segment, for the 200th time, this is a segment that goes right back to the beginning. We just kind of talk about our history with this film. So, Jamil, would you like to tell us about your history with this movie, please?
Okay, so my dad is a big Bond fan. My dad is very particular in terms of the shows and movies that he watches. So martial arts movies, westerns and Bond spy films are examples. So I've gone through majority of the Bond movies just after I was born, through watching it through him and growing up watching them over and over again. So when I've come of age and Goldeneye comes out, and it marks like a new refresh in terms of the Bond franchise. It was certainly something that we went and we watched together. Um, uh, it was very rare for me to see a movie a second time, and I saw it again. I was able to see it in regular theaters, and I was able to see it when it was re-released at the Cinesphere in IMAX. It was fake IMAX, but it was still IMAX. So yes, this movie, this franchise specifically, the movie isn't just a movie; it's a franchise in itself. With the video game, playing it repeatedly during high school. So yeah, I love GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Man. I have a similar experience to Jason. Is it okay if I go next?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. I love this movie, and it's one of the first movies, action-y, sort of violent movies that I saw as a child. This movie came out when I was pretty young. But interesting anecdote. My mom, when she didn't want me to watch things, she would tell me they were scary. So she was like, if a movie was too violent, she would tell me it was scary. So I just assumed that James Bond was a horror movie for a long time. But I eventually saw it and was like, this is the greatest movie ever made, maybe. And it really got me into James Bond in general, which I wasn't huge as a youngster, but a little bit later, when I got closer to like 10, 11, 12 is when I really started to get into James Bond. And of course, the video game from 1997, it was, I think, the first video game I got for Nintendo 64. I got it like with it for Christmas, I believe. And I played the crap out of it. And so did my dad secretly. I'd come down and like the morning and like he'd have, he like 100%ed GoldenEye, like beat it on every difficulty. My dad had a real sick problem when I was a kid with video games, to the point that he told me he bought me a TV just so it wasn't in the living room, because he would just stay up till 3 a.m. playing GoldenEye. But yeah, the movie itself, I have a very strong memory of I was having nightmares or something, and I came down and my parents were watching it, and it was the scene where Trevelyan gets shot in the head, and I was like, whoa, maybe this is scary. So that was the first time I saw it, and then I think like maybe a couple years later is when I watched it fully. But yeah, I love this movie, and I love that it opened my eyes to what James Bond is, and it sort of took me down that road where I ended up watching all of them that had been out. And after that, as they were released, I've seen, I think, almost every single James Bond in theater as they come out, because I don't care if it's good or bad or what people's opinion are on it. I think every single James Bond movie has something to have fun with at some point throughout it. Even the bad ones are still fun, as we've learned this month.
Yeah. No, I can identify with that. I absolutely
actually, I think I have a movie playing in the I'm gonna go turn it off because I think I can pick it up on my mic.
I would have absolutely watched this in 1995. Mind you, I was 10 years old. I don't know if you guys watched the same film that I did, but it is not a movie necessarily for 10-year-olds. No James Bond really is. The sexual tension in James Bond movies definitely requires some parental guidance. But I will say some things about this movie. Femke Jensen was a different person to me in this movie than she was by the time X-Men came out. I always have a memory of Femke Jensen in this movie as like one of my like awakening like movie stars in a weird way, that when X-Men came out, I was like, who's this person? But then going back and rewatching this old version of her, she looks completely different. She's got like she's like doing a Russian accent. Her skin complex, like her skin tone is completely like white. She's got the red lipstick, and then she's got that move where she squeezes you to death. And I never put together that was her like odd job or her lockjaw like Bond villain.
Lockjaw. His name is just Jaws.
You know, lockjaw.
Yeah, he cannot open his mouth. That's his power.
Hey, come over here. I'll kill you if I could just open my mouth. but I really had one of those, like, my memory of this movie was like her and Natalia and Pierce Bronson Bond being just like these incredible characters. Watching it now, 30 years later, it was a completely different movie to me, which was awesome. I picked up so much more subtext. I picked up so much more of the story. It made more sense. And then going back to our conversation about the 007 GoldenEye game, when that came out, that was like sleepovers for years. Like the next 2 or 3 years, we'd have sleepovers. We'd have the 4 controllers. We'd be playing different variations of the multiplayer. And sometimes, we'd be at a birthday party and we would just turn on the pause music when it was time to eat the pizza and the cake. Just listening to that. Yeah. Which I'm a very musical person. I love music, and the soundtrack to this movie, I never noticed how good it was and how similar to the soundtrack to GoldenEye it is as well. So
it's really synth heavy, but like in the best way possible. It's so good.
But it has that like sound all through it, which it reminds me of like the Lost a little bit.
And that sound effect to me is like an anvil hit, like a sledgehammer hitting an anvil in my mind, but like a digital version of that. But it's prevalent through so many N64 video games just because it's a really easy sound for a cartridge to be able to hold. But yeah, it has like its own sort of sense of iconography for this movie in particular, and the video game.
Fully missed out on watching it when I was young. Like I haven't rewatched this until this week either. Like it was probably on in the background, growing up and stuff. But I watched it a whole lot when I was 10 years old, and then a whole lot no more until I'm going to be watching this movie a whole lot because it is incredible. It really delineates the James Bond line from, especially after watching the 2 Timothy Dalton movies. It delineates like the old Bond and the new Bond in a weird way for me. And I haven't even seen any of the Daniel Craig movies yet. So I've been saving them for a rainy day. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This movie has been a constant in my life, but I haven't rewatched it since I was a kid.
Yeah, this is one that I kind of revisit every once in a while because it's because I was a kid. Brosnan is sort of my favorite era of Bond because they were the first ones that I saw in theaters, and it was sort of prevalent in my childhood, and it was, perfect age from this movie coming out to his last performance was sort of like my entire formative years as a human being. So it was very important to me, and it was very exciting. It was like I didn't get super overhyped for franchise stuff outside of, very much so Star Wars I was always excited for, but James Bond was a close second, I think, for me. And the Pirates movies. I love those freaking things. And obviously Lord of the Rings and other stuff as well. But like James Bond, it felt special because there was always sort of an uncomfortably large gap between them, where you were never quite sure if another one was coming. And I was sad to see him. Yeah. And I was sad to see him go. There's always been sort of this idea floating around of him returning as a villain, like in his age now, which I think would be cool, but I don't know if anyone would have the balls to do it. Who's going to do it? The Broccoli's aren't in control anymore, so maybe, you never know.
Would you watch a Zaddy Bond with Brosnan coming back as Bond Zaddy?
I mean, yeah, I would. I think that he's great. I mean, I would be interested in him coming back as maybe like this is where they confirm the idea that James Bond is just a title that the government gives you, and he's no longer James Bond, but there's a new James Bond interacting with him. I think that would be cool too. But there's so many versions of him returning that I would be interested in seeing. I know there are probably people out there that would want me dead for saying such a thing, but I don't care. I love Brosnan Bond.
It's interesting that the James Bond for that new James Bond game coming out looks like Gen Z James Bond, and I'm here for it. I'm sure the game's going to be incredible. But I have a feeling that once that game comes out, people are going to be like, he's too young. He doesn't look like Bond. But it's like, Bond doesn't really need
literally
to look like anything.
Story. Yeah. Like this is Bond's like first adventure out of the academy or whatever.
Yeah. So I don't think Bond needs to look like anything. I do have a theory about that.
I find it odd how sort of attached people get to or opinionated they get on the identity of Bond, right? Like, I was thinking about it today. I'm like, because they've been talking about doing a show and stuff, and I'm like, I think like you said, Jamil, like they're events, man. I want it to be a grand movie adventure where he's globetrotting and doing all his gadget stuff, and there's a weird villain. That's the stuff that I like. I don't need that to be 8 episodes, an hour each, where you're getting into the nitty gritty of why the guy with the glass eyes or whatever is trying to submarine the shit out of an island or whatever.
The name of the new movie, The Guy with the Glass Eyes.
Yeah, but then I was thinking like a show that I would watch though is if again that concept of him being a title and not necessarily a man. If they did an anthology series,
Like an anthology, yeah, that'd be so
like 7 or 8 movies, and every episode is a different person playing Bond, and you could get all those sort of dream casts that you've wanted in the past, you know, like Idris Elba or like Dev Patel and like all these people that like have been filtered in and out of the conversation for years. Not that they would want to do it, but at the same time, I would like to see it because it would be cool.
As long as they make it through like a prestige format, like an HBO or Showtime, where there's actual care, talent behind the lens and with the pen, and we really take that time. If we're gonna be doing these things, right? It doesn't have to be a set time. It could be an hour and 10 minutes. It could be 40 minutes, whatever it takes to tell that specific story for that specific character.
Yeah.
And maybe you work with the different actors and what do they foresee their Bond being, right?
To go to what I was saying about, I slipped in an animated one, but imagine an animatrix, but they do one of the shorts is all of the Bonds playing poker with each other, voiced by all the living Bonds.
And a really good voice impressionist of Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I think all the other Bonds are still alive.
Lazenby just gets angry at everyone.
No, he's not there. They didn't invite him. They're like, don't invite Lazenby.
He's outside. It's like, let me in.
Yeah, but I mean, if they were to do something like that, it would be cool for them to go back to all the different time periods and stuff too, and make like a 60s episode or 70s episode and have all this stuff that, you know, is considered goofy now, but go back and really lean into it. Because that's one thing that I miss about in the modern ones is they're a little bit too edgy and gritty, and they never truly got to that goofy territory, which I love in Bond movies. And even this one has it. Like, it's still alive and well in this movie. Yeah. This movie's got goofs. It doesn't have anything. I would say that maybe On a Top is a little over the top. Like that's like a little bit wild. Even today I was watching like, this is making me uncomfortable. Like, I don't like this.
And Boris is a little over the top too.
Yes, he is. But he's like sort of the perfect
eccentric,
like they don't have a cool henchman like most Bond villains do, but they have this weird hacker, which is very 90s, right? Like, somebody typing away at the computer doing stuff that the morons watching the movie don't understand and don't question. They're like, well, he's doing something on a computer, so he must be smart. But yeah, I guess, do you want to go into the talk of the director? Who's there?
Congratulations from Halifax on your MTV Teen Choice Awards, gentlemen. It was a long time coming, but I knew you could do it. See you soon.
We're gonna be racking up awards tonight, I feel like.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I think you just deleted the wrong one, brother.
No.
I still see him.
There's 2.
Oh, he has 2. Whoa. Okay. I forget what I was saying. Oh, right. The production talk. Let's talk about this movie.
All right. Quiet on set. Are we rolling? Okay, let's shoot this piece of shit.
Sound. Speed. Action!
Yep, it's time for production talk, where we kind of run down, production moments, any facts and insight that we have. I would like to start off by saying that the Tina Turner song Goldeneye
rules.
And the opening cinematic for this is incredible. Of all the James Bonds we've covered so far, this one is easily the most advanced from a cinematography level. I can't believe that. What I've noticed as an adult watching these movies is there's just fully naked women in these intros sometimes, and I'm curious how they got away with that outside of like it's artistic. But I thought that
I mean, it's rated high as like a high rating.
Is it like 14A at this point, or is it
I think it's. I
PG-13?
think it would have been 14A. Yeah, because you can
Yeah.
show nudity, right?
This movie's pretty violent. There's swearing, but I just was captivated by how elaborate that opening sequence was. It was just is so cool. And that song, Tina Turner, I didn't even realize was still doing it in the 90s.
Oh yeah, he had a resurgence with this song.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a good song. It sticks in my brain as much as Goldfinger does. Like it's just as iconic to me. And like I find myself like dun, 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 dun. Like every time I'm watching it, I'm like my head is moving with it, and I'm like, this song rules.
Yeah.
And just she did Goldfinger too, right?
No, Goldfinger was done by Shirley Bassey, wasn't it?
I don't
Shirley
remember.
Bassey did Goldfinger, she did Moonraker, and she did one more. She
You're
did
right,
3
yes.
Bond songs.
Okay. I'll figure that out as we talk, but or like the other one that she did. But yeah, this I don't know, man. You're right. Like all the weird rotating heads and bodies and like the sickles and hammers and the guns coming out of mouths and stuff. It's like so weird. It's almost like a Salvador Dali painting or something, but like
absolutely yes.
But like hyper politically charged and like just uncomfortable and odd. But the music, kind of just the tone of the song is very James Bond. It's got those like really intense brass section stuff and like. I love that when she's like Goldeneye, and then like the eye turns gold. I'm like, okay, perfect. Give this movie all the Oscars. Yeah. I don't care anymore.
The movie cost. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jamil.
Sorry, I love the explosion, and then all the bodies turn into silhouettes of flames as well. Yeah. That's also. I thought that was a good touch as well. Sorry, go ahead.
The movie cost $60 million to make, and it ended up with a worldwide box office of $356 million. So sequel. But even domestically, it did $26 million opening weekend and domestic $106 million. So like, it was a hit, and it was such a hit that I'd like to. I didn't get the facts for it, but I'd like to see what the game did, because the game also kept this movie in people's thoughts.
Yeah.
Well after the movie had done its cycle, right? Because we talk about Goldeneye more than the game, more than the movie in our
lives. It's also wild that the game came out 2 years after the movie came out. It's not like it was released at the same time, you know.
The funny thing about that box office number is that we also have to think about the home video aspect of it. That movie did so well, 300 million. And just imagine that it probably did maybe double that amount on home video. And it's the mind share. It was in the cultural zeitgeist long after it left theaters, with the game giving it another resurgence. Right. So,
yeah. And I mean, 60 million is a lot, but I would say that this movie looks like it's almost double its budget. Like, it's so good looking. The miniatures that they use, that opening sequence, the opening sequence of this movie is like a perfect opening and a perfect way to introduce a new Bond and a perfect cool James Bond stunt, and everything about it is just like so satisfying. And if you play the game, I assume we all played the absolute shit out of the video game. Yes. But like, if you've played that video game, you're kind of like having this other experience watching this moment where you're like, I remember exploring that area, and I remember going into that room, and like, you're like, wow, they really didn't have a lot of stuff in the game, but these rooms are so packed full of weird like larder materials and computer screens and shit.
I wanted to say in my brief history, I forgot, but when they go to Cuba, when I was a kid, I didn't like realize the jungle level in Goldeneye was Cuba. And watching it today, as soon as they're like, we're going to Havana, Cuba, and I was like, oh. And then it became, in the game, it's an escort quest where you gotta like she follows you like through the jungle. And in this, it's a little different because it's a movie. But it's weird because if the game had come out first, the movie is a perfect depiction of the game, and vice versa, which is, you don't ever see that. They've never done a great video game adaptation this way since that I can think of. It's very few and far between they do.
There's usually a splitting of it. Like they try to hit some major like sequences from the movie, and they make sure that they put in the game, or vice versa, when we see in Uncharted, for example, right? They're like, they just plucked specific things from the games. Like as I was saying before, I think in the pre-show, it really felt like the game designers were either on set or they had an early cut of this movie to base the game, because the game is so like incredibly accurate in
Yeah.
terms of representing what the movie is.
Even like
Yeah,
down to
it
like
fills out.
the staircase that he goes down in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and like it's all just exact to the movie. You're exploring the movie, and like that, like you said, Jason, that doesn't happen very often. And I guess this movie did have 2 years of time between the release of this movie and when the game came out. So I guess that also gave them the time to be like, hey, do you guys have like set blueprints and like things that we can look at to recreate these things as accurately as possible? And then anything that you don't show, we can kind of elaborate on, like, you know, the laboratory sections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, it's all there. And you're right, there is a split, like you said, Jamil, where it's like, it's just the name, and then the two things don't necessarily have anything to do with one another, right? Like the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, good video game, but has absolutely nothing to do with the movie, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like if you, this movie is sort of the exception, because there was a time where they were trying to recreate what this movie did and failing everywhere. Like I can't think of very many movie tie-in video games that were either as good or better than the movie. I think like maybe that like Wolverine Origins.
That's the one I was going to say.
Yeah.
Ironically, the
was
worst.
like, the game was way better than the movie. Like the movie sucked and the game was great.
It should have been a vice versa, where it's like, okay, scrap the movie, follow what the game does.
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
film that.
But yeah, I mean, this is also a pretty large gap between the Timothy Dalton ending and him returning. And I think this happens often where it's like, once they wrap it up with their current Bond, sometimes it takes a long time, to the point that we're all wondering, like, are they even going to make any more? And like, I think even the production company and the Broccoli's are like, I think maybe we're good. And then something comes along and they're like, no, let's do this again. And as I was saying before, it's like, I would have liked to have seen more Dalton, because I think that he's also a really excellent James Bond, and he didn't also get the sort of fair shake to have the goofy stuff. There's some goofy stuff in his two movies, but it's so steeped in like American crime and like the drug trade and like all of this stuff that is so gritty and realistic, and like it takes away from the fun of James Bond. There's a little bit of it sprinkled in, but this one just like ramps it up to like that for England, and you're like, okay, corny and action packed. I'm in. I'm sold. Within seconds of this movie starting, I'm like, best Bond movie ever made.
Best Bond.
Yeah.
I had such a good time. I have a little bit of a theory about the Bonds and like the connective tissue between the Bond movies. I won't get into it because Steve, you're gonna be like, no. But I do feel like Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan's James Bond are the same guy, just with two different actors, because of the way that this version of Bond conducts business. They feel very similar, where they're like cool, they're of the era, and everything happening around them is insane. But they're in both versions of these Bonds, the people that he interacts with are like, you're such a misogynist weirdo, and you're always such a hothead, and you really just got to stay on course. But that also goes to what you've been saying about Bond these last two Bond months, where it's like he rules with his hotheadedness. He almost rules with his dick.
Sometimes, yeah. I think that James Bond canon is entirely headcanon. So whatever you want James Bond to be,
you're right.
is fine. Like, it's up to you to decide what the canon is and what it isn't. And there's no like rule book to it. You know, the big book of British Bonds is not a book that you have to read from beginning to end. You can open it up to any chapter and watch it, and that's the Bond that you're watching in that moment. And they're not necessarily all connected, and they're not necessarily all disconnected, you know.
I agree. Thank you. People obsess over like they clutch pearls with James Bond, and I'm like, you look at like Goldfinger and compare it to any like modern Bond, and they're so different. And it'll be different again, right? There's core principles that you keep with it, but like it's a movie and a series of its era, and you can still appreciate the previous eras, right? And like, so I honestly don't care who they have as Bond. Just get someone who's good, right? We can debate We can debate on who that might be, or this person is better than this person. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a fun movie. There's going to be gadgets. The level of absurdity will depend on the era, right? There's going to be, some questionable sexual situations,
Yeah.
right? Typically, right? And there's going to be a villain and stakes, right? And that's what I'm looking for in this experience. And the director will provide their own individual style as well as we get more modern. Just give me another Bond movie. Give me 2 years, I'll be in theaters. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm getting itchy for one. It's been long enough. I feel like if they're not working on it already, they need to get the gears going, because I love James Bond and I just want it to keep going forever. But it's also one of those things where every time someone retires as Bond, the conversation reemerges on who's going to play it, and it ends up being this like weird discourse where you're like, everyone just shut up and let them pick somebody, please, for the love of God. Nobody cares what your opinion on who should play James Bond and why.
I do think Idris Elba would be a great, was like born to play this kind of character, like I think I think his time might have passed. People used to be like, John Hamm should be Batman. And by the time the conversation was becoming real, he's like, I'm too old to be Batman.
Yeah. I think in the case of Idris Elba, he was like, there was an interview with him where he was like, I don't want to do it just because I'm black, because people want me to. I want to do it because people want me to. And then he's like, I just don't want to be like the first black James Bond. And I kind of get that. And that was why he was sort of like, I'm not interested. But then like a few years passed and he's like, you know what? If they asked me, I'd probably fucking do it, because I would love to be James Bond. And I'm like, hell yeah, that's exactly why you should do it.
He's cool. Like, he's so cool, and he could pull this character off so well. I think is the thing about Idris Elba.
I think he's also just an amazing actor.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm more concerned at who's directing it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Focus on getting a good director who has like a vision, and then everything else will work out there. If Martin Scorsese does it, most likely Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be, Bond. Right? That's what the thought process is. What does a Danny Boyle Bond movie look like?
Right. That is an interesting thought, because some directors stay with it for a while too. And that's something that I would love to see return, is a director who has sort of like at least one good one in them, and then a few where they can get funky with it and do whatever, like do some weird shit. But it doesn't happen very often anymore, where the same director kind of rides the rail with whoever they've selected as Bond. And that's something that I think is important, like you're saying, is like a good director who also has an actor that they want because they work well with them, and then let them direct them through like 3-4 movies or whatever.
What would an Ari Aster James Bond movie look like?
God.
What would a David Lynch James Bond movie look like? With Kyle MacLachlan. Kyle MacLachlan as James Bond, though.
All right, Kale, I want you to lift the gun at the lens, please. Okay, and have you gotten the man with no meat on his legs in for the main villain? His name is Skeleton Legs. Excellent.
And his sidekick Headlock, who does a headlock very hard.
Right.
That's my James Bond. That's my Bond villain for this week, by the way.
He's got like a septum piercing, but it's like one of those little locks.
That's
his style. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think in summation, don't let any of the fans write a James Bond movie. I agree with you, Steve. Let the people make the new James Bond thing, because Daniel Craig, like I haven't seen the movies, but I've seen him as Bond, and he's got the look, like his face.
I mean, even when Daniel Craig was selected, people were losing their shit.
I remember him
because he's blonde. They're like, dude, he can't be blonde. Like, what the fuck gives a shit? Roger Moore played him for like 5 movies, and he's like got the reddest hair on earth. Anyway,
well, was it a lot of the discourse around Daniel Craig changed when they had the bikini, the shorts image? I remember when that dropped, and the ladies were like, maybe he could be blonde.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I was also okay with it.
Rub-a-dub-dub. Who's there?
Greetings, have you seen this one? And congratulations on 400 episodes of your podcast. Wow, what a remarkable achievement. A total combined 12,834 hours of podcast time. But there's nothing to sneeze at. You should be very proud of yourselves. And thank you as a fan on behalf of all of the other fans for all the enjoyment you've given us through your podcast, all the movies you've introduced us to, and the ones that you reconnected us to and rekindled our passion for. Thank you so very much, and congratulations on this milestone achievement. I'm looking forward to the next episode and beyond, the next 400 episodes. An 800 episode milestone, I hope to congratulate you on that one too. So thank you again, have you seen this one, and see you at the movies.
Who is this guy?
That's Nick Latimer. He's the guy that gets the movie right every single week. He's been watching the show for years and years.
That's so sweet of him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Latimer.
Thank you.
That was so sweet. It looks like he's on the TV from Get Out.
Yeah.
You know, at the end.
He recorded that. He recorded that on a actual like home commercial use like shoulder.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Right on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How sweet of him. Thank you so much. That really threw me off. I love the soundtrack going for that one.
Yeah, it was very like, I was like, is Mark Wahlberg and George Clooney going to show up with their fishing boat from The Perfect Storm? It's like, I thought it was amazing. Right on. Yeah. That was great. You guys deserve it. 200, 400, 800 already locked in.
I'm going to watch them all.
17,000 hours. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I don't have much to add in terms of factual knowledge about the production of this movie, but if anybody else has anything they want to add,
I have one last fact that is incredible to me. The song Goldeneye was written by Bono and The Edge of U2.
Wow.
Which, if you've ever listened to U2, you can kind of hear it. You can kind of hear it. The lyrics are so nonsensical. There's a part where the lyrics are talking about like, when I was a kid, I saw you. I'm like, what is happening in this song right now? But I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, the song does not necessarily match up with the actual movie, but it's still such a great song. It's Goldeneye. It's great, and that the ending of that, like. If I have any criticism of any recent Bond songs, is that I don't get the huge ending that like Tina does in Goldeneye. Like I wish Adele did that with Skyfall. It was the one issue I have with it.
I love Skyfall as well though, because it really truly feels like a James Bond one. But like, because there's a few that don't really feel as much like a James Bond song as I feel like it could. Not enough, horns and stuff. You need the horns.
What is it? Louis Armstrong's.
Which one did he do?
It's the. I think it's for we have all the time in the world. I think is the name of the song. I think it is for. What is it? Which one? I think it might be Lazarbees.
He did. Which movie is it? Oh my god! It is, yeah. It's the Lazenby.
I know my Bond theme songs pretty well.
You do, yeah. I don't even need to fact check you here. Another fun fact is that James Bond almost fell apart entirely in 1990 because MGM was to be sold for $1.5 billion to Quintex, an Australian-American financial services company that had begun making television broadcasts and entertainment. But they couldn't provide a $50 million letter of credit, and the deal fell apart. So that deal falling apart may have saved James Bond, but who knows? Maybe Quintex would have made some banger Bond movies.
We never know.
Yeah, or a bunch of weird Australian James Bond TV
Peter
shows.
Jackson and
Peter Jackson's James Bond.
Oh my god,
I'm into it. But
so
it's
much
more
pus.
like bad
Yeah.
taste than James Bond. Yeah, exactly.
If there's that one thing I know about Peter Jackson, it's that he loves pus. He puts it in every movie, no matter what.
Lime and pus.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to move to the body of the episode?
The body of the episode?
Yeah.
Ho, 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 ho! Everybody back up, because here comes the body of the episode.
That's right. It's time to sort of lay out for the 200th time what the movie has going on for it. Basically, we're running the story. We're going to talk about it beat by beat. So to go back to talk about the video game a little bit off the top, if you remember the video game, there's a whole
What video game?
Goldeneye.
Oh my god, my favorite video game of all time.
The video game is not called Goldeneye. It's called Goldeneye 007.
True.
It was actually a Jeopardy question. Everyone got it wrong.
What?
They couldn't figure it out because they got the Goldeneye part, and then one person eventually said 007 Goldeneye, but it was incorrect. Goldeneye 007.
That is a fun fact. Oh my gosh.
They're just coming through.
Hello, Jason and Steve. Just leaving a message for y'all to congratulate you on 200 episodes. It's a remarkable achievement and great testimony to the pride and dedication that both of you have put into this show, and one I've always enjoyed. And I think 200 episodes means it's about time I tell you that every time I've been graciously asked to come on, I've had to wear super tight pants to give me a sense of power in order to feel as if I am able to contend at your level, because it's always so remarkable to see the fun, the pride and joy and love the two of you have for this, to commit to it for every week that you can, and it's always very thoughtful and hard work. So thank you so much. I've enjoyed participating with the show, and I've enjoyed watching the show and listening, and here's to 200 billion zillion more, and lots of love to you and everyone. Take care, and thanks.
Thanks, Tim.
Which one of these is going to make Steven cry? That's what I want to know.
That one made me laugh a lot when he used to wear tight pants to feel powerful. Love it. Tim's funny.
You can tell him to stand up next time. Next time he shows up, he has to stand up.
He's wearing sweatpants. I'm like, you're a liar.
Why are you fully erect also?
Tim was here for our last James Bond episode, and it was truly unhinged. Well, I was at a wedding the night before, so
it was great. We were both feeling it.
Pretty sure I was still drunk.
But to go back to what I was saying, in the game James Bond, there's this whole 20-minute lead up where you like fight through the dam, but the movie starts at the point where he does the big dive from the bungee. But then when the next sequence is him like cutting a hole in a vent and dropping down on the guy who's in the bathroom stall, which is directly from the game as well. And then he goes into that complex, which is very much a sequence from the game. And you can really line up, like I was saying earlier, like you can line up the game with the movie in this really unique way that you really can't do.
Yeah, I was thinking about this while I was watching the movie, like because they open with that crazy shot of the dam, and I'm like, well, what a nice shot. And then he runs through the gate, and I'm like, I remember running through that gate, and I'm like, what a smart move to be like, instead of starting as soon as he drops in, we start just before we see him on screen, and we have an entire level of you making your way toward the dam. And I'm like, that is just good game design and creativity, and like them taking something and expanding upon it rather than trying to follow it to the letter, which I think is very wise.
And that gun sound effect, when I think about that opening level, the gun sound effect is used throughout this, the like ricochet sound, that like pew. When I think of the opening level, I think of that sound effect, and just the sound designers of the game and the movie clearly worked hand in hand, because
they probably, because those particular ricochet sound effects you can hear in so many movies throughout the 80s and 90s. to the point that like when I'm watching movies and I hear it, I think about Goldeneye, the video game. So I'm certain that the production company was like, here, you have access to our sound library and you can use whatever you want. Love a ricochet. Maybe one of my favorite sound effects on planet Earth. Love it. Yeah.
He meets up with Trevelyan 006. The Colonel Omarov is there as well. He calls for Bond to surrender while Bond rigs the tanks to blow, which is from the game as well. And they kill, or so we think, they kill 006 in the sequence as well, and Bond makes it out. There's a lot of really cool little action moments. I think this movie excels in its like action sequences. From the fight choreography, and a lot of it is really cool. And this little thing where he like comes out with the squeaky cart with the like explosive barrels on it, and he's like ducking out like, you can't get me. He hits the conveyor belt and gets out of there while shooting. Like, it all feels very heavy.
Why didn't they surround him?
Dumb. They're dummies.
Yeah, they're stormtroopers.
Yes, and I do like the fact that they kind of cut away from 006's like execution.
Yeah.
So it isn't like, it was a big fake out. All from Bond's perspective is a gun goes off and he falls to the floor, as opposed to really seeing anything happen.
Well, the misdirect there too is that Oramov like shoots one of the guards for like speaking up. So it's like he fake kills.
He shoots the guard because the guard shoots his gun.
Yes.
Because they're in a room full of explosive canisters, and he's like, "I told you not to shoot." I love that. I actually think that actor, the guy who plays Omanov, is that his name? Or Ormanov?
Oramov, yeah.
The face that he makes when he turns back around after shooting the guy is like a look of genuine fear. Like, he's like, I almost just got blown up. I can't let any of these fucking idiots shoot their guns. That guy, like, I'm not too familiar with him in much of anything else, but he gives off the vibe of a military traitor.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I love, like, as the movie goes on, he's slowly becoming more disheveled and like just constantly hitting his flask, and like his buttons are slowly getting undone and stuff. I'm like, this guy is stressed out. Apparently betraying your country and king is a stressful position to be in, because this guy's constantly hitting the booze.
It looks like this actor worked primarily in German film. I'm looking back through his IMDb. I don't know if he ever really made it here outside of this, because I don't recognize any of these movies, and they're mostly in German.
But isn't that necessarily like great, where you get these like great character actors and they just appear in this one movie, one American or a Western movie per se, and they just knock it out of the park. So from Western viewers, it's like, oh, it's Armanoff, right? It's like, oh man, you were great in the movie.
Yeah.
He has this long storied career in Germany.
Yeah, he's like, I also was in 45 other movies. Like, I haven't seen anything other than Goldeneye, sir.
Was it Sir Ian? Not Sir Ian McKellen. Sir from who played Obi-Wan Kenobi. Everyone's like, oh, look, it's...
Oh, yeah. Alec Guinness? Yeah.
Yeah, Sir Alec Guinness. It's like, I was on Bridge on River Kwai as well. It's like, never seen it. You were great in the Star Wars.
I was also in Lawrence of Arabia,
Yes.
Yeah, we were a space wizard.
You guys didn't see Die Schon, Brat und Schwarz?
No.
I must have missed that one.
Sean Bean also was not huge at this point. I mean,
No,
he was big on TV and mostly overseas, but like he'd only been in a couple of movies before this. So cast him as Trevelyan was also smart, because he's not huge enough that you're going to assume, oh, this guy's going to be the bad guy. So his death actually feels like it has a bit of weight, even though it's a misdirect and he is revealed to be the true villain later. It's a good move, because if you cast somebody who's prestigious, that in your mind you're like, they can't kill him off in the first 5 minutes. This guy's going to be back.
Yeah.
So to cast somebody of like some prestige and well known enough to be like, I could see them killing this guy.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest outside of Pierce Brosnan? Who's the biggest star?
in this movie. Yeah,
Yeah, the next
maybe
biggest
Robbie
star.
Coltrane, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
like,
Coltrane.
and or maybe
like Dumbledore,
Judy Dench.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
Judi
Dave-
Dench, definitely James Judi Dench.
Yeah. Yeah, even like Alan Cumming wasn't huge at this point
Yeah.
either. It's pretty early in
I
his
wanted to
career.
make a note about Alan Cumming. There were times he does a pretty good Russian accent, but sometimes it just sounded like a Scottish person doing a Russian accent, and it comes through at certain
I mean,
points.
that's literally what it is.
That's literally what it is.
Yeah.
But I was like, that didn't sound right, and then I'm like, oh yeah, he's an
But I think
extremely
that his
Scottish person.
He's so charactery in this movie that like it doesn't matter. I'm okay. It doesn't bother me. You know, I'm not
Right.
there with a microscope looking for the Scottish accent. I'm just enjoying his performance because it's fun.
You're taking it as a quirk.
Yeah.
A quirk of this individual. So
I just love his little skeezy little face when the faces that he makes all the time, like the and like when he goes outside with a cigarette in his mouth and he's got this weird cock of the walk attitude. I'm like, who's he looking at? Who's he doing this face for? It's like he's doing it for us, baby.
For us,
There's
yeah.
nobody in that Siberian desert. He's just doing that face for us, the audience, and I appreciate it.
Well, speaking of the Siberian desert, I really like when Bond escapes the situation. He goes outside. Seeing James Bond in the snow was awesome. We haven't seen him on this show anyway since he was in Switzerland. He kind of does this thing where he runs. What vehicle does he take to the airplane?
A motorcycle.
No, he runs.
It's a motorcycle, right?
He runs and then
No,
he's
it's a-
knocked out of the plane, and then he picks up a motorcycle and jumps off the cliff on a bike. Yeah.
Our brother's like, no, don't worry. He's not going to make the plane. Don't worry about it. Let's stop pursuing.
There's no way he's making it. Yeah. It's so like it's completely unbelievable, but it's so amazing.
Yeah.
Like I love it so much because it's like he was already in the plane, and then he got knocked out of the plane and had to
The
get
plane's
back
just
in
going
the
to the
plane.
end of the.
It's just like they could have easily just had him get in the plane and fly off, right? And then the facility explodes. It's already a grand scene, but the writers and directors are like, no, this is the first James Bond. He's a new James Bond. It's been so many years. We've got to make him do something that tops every other stunt that James Bond has ever done to set the tone for Pierce Brosnan's James Bond being the craziest psychopath you've ever fucking met.
Well, that's what I was saying about James Bond and this version of him. He feels like almost a superhero-esque version of James Bond, and in this movie specifically, he doesn't just have a Bond villain and then a henchman like a lot of the movies have. He's got a whole rogues gallery almost of villains that he and foils that he deals with throughout this film. I thought it was a great way to reintroduce it. I'm excited to see the next one is Tomorrow Never Dies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm excited to see like if they continue that or if it goes back to being like henchman and crony.
I think you have
Or
a couple
villain and
with
crony.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Thank you, Travel Guru VT. Travel Guru VT is a great fella. He does really cool, like ASMR single shot videos of like wilderness for
cool.
sleeping, and also he goes to different resorts around the world and does food reviews. It's a great YouTube. Go follow him. He's a good guy. So the next bit is the intro credits, which we kind of already touched on. Just psychotic. I really liked how high fidelity the James Bond walking in front of the gun, like it looks the most like the way that you remember it, I think. If that makes sense. It just looks great. He turns and it goes down with the red.
Yeah, I mean, like
Love
I
that.
said before, this opening sequence is amazing. Everything about it, from jumping off the dam to, like beating a guy up in the toilet who's taking a dump or whatever. Just thought I'd drop in or whatever.
Yeah.
and making his way through the facility, and then the reveal of his partner being there, and like just the concept of another 00 agent being there with him is like so cool, and you don't really see that very often in James Bond movies. I can't even think of another example of when you see it at all, really. But
you see it later. You see it later on.
I think so. Yeah.
Craig movies, but like I do like the back and forth, showing that they do have like some kind of bond. It's like for England, it's like for England, at the beginning, which makes the ending even more
For me.
better. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no Felix Leiter. That's usually his go-to other character,
Yeah,
right?
Felix,
his
yeah.
CIA contact or whatever. But they had Jack Wade instead. Who
I
was
don't mind if you spoil this for me. Does Wade come back as his Felix Leiter, or is that just this
I
one-off?
believe I think he's in a couple. Yeah. Same with Coltrane too. Coltrane, they have sort of a tenuous relationship throughout. Was his name Valentine? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he's a fun character who pops in every once in a while. You get to, and wisely too, because he is kind of a funny character. Just like everything about him is kind of goofy and funny. Like
That's my mistress.
yeah, exactly. It's not even his wife; it's his mistress. But yeah, I don't think that there was a Felix Leiter in the Brosnan movies at all. I think that he doesn't.
No, I
return.
think they skipped that altogether.
Yeah, I think he's in the he's in the Craig movies. What's his name? Jeremy Wright plays him, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. I think you told me that before. That's great. I think also in the last James Bond movie, Felix Leiter got fucked pretty bad.
Yes. So did James Bond.
That's true. I think this opening sequence reminds me a bit of the first. Was it the first Timothy Dalton where they're doing the like
the paintball?
The paintball field test thing, and then he like dives off with the parachute and lands on a ship, and then it's like dun dun dun.
Yeah,
that's what this felt like a little bit.
But I don't know how much more praise I can give to this opening sequence, because I just think like I don't think it's ever been topped, in my opinion, for an opening sort of action sequence. It's just so good. It's got tension, it's got drama, it's got explosions, it's got miniatures, it's got motorcycles and planes. The only thing that would make this better is if there's a train in it. And guess what? There's a train in this movie.
What?
A super
But also, right after the credits, there's another very James Bond thing. He's like trying to get his license to kill back, or he's trying to like do a test to see if he's still like mentally stable enough. And he's driving around like these very like curvy mountainous hills with. That wasn't Moneypenny, right?
It wasn't.
That's not. It looks a lot like Moneypenny, but he does kiss her. But Femke Jensen's Zinnia Onatop is there. She shows up in a Ferrari, and is just giving him the gears on these turns. There's a part where like there's a bike group, a bike race coming by, and they almost take them all out. I thought that was really
Ladies
funny.
first.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing, like all those people just falling over. Like it's like such a strange thing to be in the scene. But I don't hate it. I think it's funny. It's
Well, and he does Bond. The impression is Bond does a lot more than kiss.
Yeah,
that that analyst.
He says he's going to give her a thorough examination. I'm like, ugh, James, you're gross, bro. I think I out loud said gross. Like, no one around, just me. Ugh, gross.
Well, he opens the center console to reveal a bottle of wine or champagne, and it's like, you're drinking and driving during your evaluation to see if you're stable enough to continue being.
Listen, James Bond's blood is like 80% alcohol at all times. He drinks martinis as his go-to drink.
Yeah, if he sobers up, it's actually worse for society.
Yeah, he gets real sad. Oh, who's there?
Hey guys, Ben here from the BS Bargain Bin. Just wanted to wish you a happy 200th episode. And here's to another 200, where you'll probably have to change the name to the show to, hey, did we see this one? All the best.
Funny. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate that. It's true. I told him after that we actually redid Kiss Kiss Bang Bang because we don't remember what we did. Ooh. So Bond goes to Paris. We're gonna get some French people now, and he sees the Ferrari from before. Play some cards. So watching this movie at this point, I still think that Femke Jensen is a Bond girl. She's not. She's the odd job of this movie. She's like the
she's the weird villain.
Yeah.
Except her weird villain power isn't metal teeth or a hat that kills people. She crushes you with her legs and gets real horny while she does it.
Yeah, anytime licks your face.
I do not like that when she's killing people, she is having some sort of sexual gratification. It's really disturbing. I don't like it.
She loves her job.
Yeah, I love this job so much. like when she's mowing people down in the
Yeah.
satellite facility, I'm like, oh my god, she is enjoying this a lot.
Yeah.
This movie did something to me as a kid. Like I should not have seen her performance in this film.
No, this
the
is not a
age that I did.
PG-13 performance. She's basically having sex with a gun. You're like, oh. The concept of murder is all she needs.
Did this movie make me a weirdo?
Listen, probably this combined with a lot of other things. I do like her outfits throughout the movie, though. I think
she like
cool.
style icon.
She looks like she's about to walk down the runway almost in every sequence that she's in.
Like if Femme Fatale was a villain instead of the hero of the movie, that's kind of what she's dressed like. Or she's going to a funeral the whole time. Also,
yeah. I also like that whatever curse word she's saying, I'm not sure what it is, but it sounds like she's saying biatch. like very good. I like this. Should have looked up the meaning.
Bond says shaken not stirred during the sequence.
I think he gets all of his classic lines out.
Yeah, he says all of his classic lines, but the way that he says it, it's so casual and a part of the conversation, as opposed to like, he said the thing. Like he waits and then sets it up. It seems so in the conversation, the way that they focus on him and not anyone else while he's saying it, but it's from like they're looking up, kind of like it's a slightly. It's an interesting shot that they've done for that specific sequence.
Yeah, and it definitely, like you're saying, it doesn't feel winky to the camera. Like it comes out very natural from him. But yeah, the lower angle just to kind of give us that sort of hero shot. It's really it's good cinematography in this movie. And,
the movie looks so fucking good. Too.
Yeah.
Like,
it looks very much like a movie from the 90s, but
yes.
a lot of movies in the 90s were photographed very well because people gave a shit. Now, now the end of every Marvel movie is a freaking cutscene.
Skybeam.
The camera doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
The Skybeam. The Skybeam in. And
every time we talk about 90s movies, we recognize that this is like peak pre-CGI. Like this is the peak of cinematography before they started jamming CGI into everything. And this follows the Bond the Bond streak of everything being fairly practical. I can't even tell if the satellite was CGI or like practical.
No, those are all miniatures.
It's all miniatures, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that that's
great.
Yeah, same with the facility at the beginning blowing up. Like you can tell because the flames are slightly like you can tell that they're the way they're moving. It's a small flame. It's not actually is the size of how big an explosion like that would be. But I don't care because it looks better than like 90% of special effects.
The most egregious version of that is when the water's draining, but it's in reverse in the satellite at the end.
But that's not a special effect. That's just a reverse shot.
It just was awesome. It just looks great, and you can suspend your disbelief. It's weird because you're not supposed to you're almost not supposed to watch these movies in such high definition. When you're watching them on old CRT TV on VHS back in the day,
you're talking about these movies were in theater.
No, I know, but they were still like grainy. It's like off of reels.
I saw it in IMAX. It still looks good.
Okay. It's coming back to theaters literally like next month too.
Let's all go see it together.
I want to see this in theaters so bad. But he has a little bit of a
see how many kids are going to be watching this movie.
Yeah.
Literally all 40-year-old dudes.
Yeah. Also that reverse water shot I don't understand why it's reversed. Because like I didn't really think too much to bring this up, but it's like it's not like the camera's pushing in or out or moving in a way that like it's just like a clean flat shot, but the water is going backwards for some reason. I'm like, why is it going backwards?
Maybe it was just easier to fill up the reservoir than to empty it because they wanted that like bubbling.
Their logic there is probably because it's supposed to be draining at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it was draining instead of coming out of the water. But like it's like one tiny shot, but it's so obvious that it's going backwards that you're like, what? Why is that?
Water doesn't move like that.
Yeah.
There was another weird one like that where it was clearly like a Batman sideways thing where he falls down the ladder and the gravity doesn't work, like the physics don't work because you don't fall like that.
Well, I know the shot you're talking about.
You know the shot I'm talking about? Yeah.
It looks weird, but like at the same time, it does not pull me out. Like I'm not like, I was just kind of like odd. I don't think people
d-
fall that way.
I do a review podcast, so like I've been doing this for 200 episodes now, so I'm like honed in on a lot more things I wouldn't have been, and things like that just stick out to me now. So I guess
First viewing, it happens. First viewing.
What?
First viewing, does that happen like regularly? Immediately,
yeah,
up.
a little bit more than it would have traditionally.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before on the podcast, where it's like when you're watching a good movie, those things do not bother you at all. You might still notice them, but you're not going out of the theater thinking about that because it feels nitpicky. And when you're enjoying yourself, why nitpick? You know, there's so much to talk about that you don't need to complain about the little things. You know, other than that fucking reversing water, what the hell is going on there?
There was definitely a reason for it. Like there was
maybe they filmed it both
bubbling.
ways, and it just the initial shot, the filling up shot, didn't work, and they're just like, okay, the reverse looks better.
It's just more.
Let's just do it that way.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. So they play cards. He plays cards with Onatop, and he's being his cheeky self, where he's just making innuendo after innuendo, and he beats her, and I think he wins like $1 billion or whatever. It seems like they're betting a lot of money, and Bond doesn't even take his chips with him. He just leaves because he knows the hotel or wherever they're at, the casino, will just like credit it to him. It's like a high-end casino where you don't have to worry about carrying your chips around like a pervert. They take care of you for you. They take care of everything. But then it's revealed
They used those big cards in the last one, those like thick things in the last one, but this time, since it's the 90s, they're holographic. Did you notice that?
Yeah, everything was holographic in the 90s. I think those bigger tokens are just like $10,000 chips or whatever. They're just bigger. Yeah, I don't really. I've been to a casino once, didn't like it. Never will I go again.
I'm with you, man.
I don't understand the appeal.
Buffet. It's just
buffet. Okay, there we go. A buffet I'll go to again, but I don't think I need to go play slots or cards or anything. But yeah, it's revealed that she is sort of seeing the admiral of a ship, and she fucking cucks Bond or whatever, and he's like, "What's your rank?" And he's like, "I'm a commander." And she's like, "Well, this guy's an admiral, and I'm gonna go have sex with him right now." And they
love a woman who pulls rank.
Yeah, exactly.
Break his spine with my fucking thick legs. We get a Moneypenny moment too, where she sends a message and she throws some puns down. But yeah, in the yacht, Xenia.
I hope you keep on atop this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Xenia murders the admiral with her special leg abilities. I never really put together that she is a Bond villain in this with the gimmick. I already kind of mentioned that, but Bond investigates and he beats the fuck out of just a regular guy, like a deckhand comes in. He's like, "Stop what you're doing!" And he just fucking
with a towel.
him. Yeah,
he fucks him up with a towel. It's so funny. And then he dabs his forehead after, like, "Whoo, that's some sweaty business."
He's the first person he got to beat up after his evaluation, so he's raring to go.
Yeah. The ship was called the Manticore.
Oh, cool.
Which it's, I think, not spelt like the mythological creature, but I like it. The little boat was called the Manticore, and then the big boat was also called the Manticore. But I like that there's enough business going on with Bond here where like you kind of are putting things together with him. And like, you know, he sees the Manticore, he sees where it's going. He's like, okay, I got to get on that boat eventually. Luckily, she drives the flashiest fucking car that's so easy to track. He just has to look around for a red Ferrari, and then he's also
with the wrong license plates.
Yeah, exactly. They're fake. And he sees the helicopter, he sees the boat, he's formulating a plan, and then Moneypenny, kind of like, for the dum-dums out there who don't know how to read, she basically just reads everything for us. But you know, it's nice to get a little preview of Moneypenny before we actually see her as well. And she's clearly like, this fucking guy. Like, as she's reading the message, she's like, yeah, all right, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure you're gonna bone this woman, you pervert. Which technically he does not. And then we get the sweet fight sequence where he beats a guy up with an ice bucket and a towel and throws him down the stairs. And I'm like, I don't know if that guy's unconscious, Bond. You might want to go down there.
You might have killed that guy by accident fully. You might want to check his pulse. but he doesn't. There's
Yeah,
some
if he's
sort
not
of
moving, he's probably dead.
He's got his license to kill back. He's like itching
Yeah.
to use it.
There's some sort of an aircraft demo going on here. The Tiger helicopter, it can't be affected by electromagnetic weapons, which comes into play in a little bit. Xenia commandeers the helicopter, and here's something I noticed.
We're not going to talk about how he finds the admiral dead with a giant smile on his face.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
That's how Bond gets the credentials to be able to get to the show with the helicopter.
Yeah.
He takes that guy's badge or whatever.
Lanier's badge.
Yeah.
This version of a Bond henchman kind of reminds me, especially where she steals a helicopter. It gave me the feeling of a Carmen Sandiego a little bit. And this goes in line with.
I mean, I just assume that Carmen Sandiego murders people with her legs and gets sexual gratification out of it.
I'm into it with a big hat. But this goes in line.
She would
with
actually
other...
make a good Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, she would.
If they were ever to do a live
Trench
action.
coat.
Yeah. This goes in line with what I've talked about on this show a couple times, where like in that one James Bond where he goes into like the kung fu theater and has to fight his way out. It'd be cool if Bruce Lee had shown up, or when he's in Harlem, it'd be cool if John Shaft shows up. Carmen Sandiego showing up in a Russian.
They're all canonically in the same universe.
I'm into like that's
famously
that's
Bruce
my
Lee,
headcanon.
real life person Bruce Lee is in the James Bond universe alongside John Shaft and Carmen Sandiego.
You just the music changes for when John Shaft comes. It's just a
Oh yeah.
There we go. There it is. Yeah. So we go to
the Shaft 2000 is one of my favorite movies ever. That's why I have
it's his duty to please that booty.
Yeah, to please that booty. Yeah.
It absolutely is. We go over to the Space Weapon Control Center in Russia. We're introduced to Boris and the computer gang. He's fucking around with the FBI and is a great hacker. Something that's interesting about that I recognize is this is the first time they can really have a hacker character, because the last time CD-ROMs were a brand new idea and the internet was only in the military, like just to connect rooms together in like the White House or the CIA or the Pentagon. Now the internet is fully commercial. We have a guy who's fully hacking into the CIA database. I really loved that. And Xenia
good sort of
arrives.
housekeeping for later in the movie. Like they show you all this stuff just to give you a very basic understanding of what these two people are doing, and more so what he's doing, but it's also showing that he is inadvertently giving her the skills that she needs in order to basically do everything that she does at the end of the movie. Because he's like, she's fucking dumb, but I'm going to show her all this stuff that I do. And he just thinks that she's not going to be able to do it, but it's like, you literally showed her how. She's watching you do it. You think like she's obviously smart enough to be working at a secret government facility that operates satellites. She's not an idiot. So it's like, it's kind of nice because it sets up sort of the entirety of like the last act of the movie is like Natalia is the reason that they succeed. James Bond is running around punching people in the face, and Natalia is doing all the work that needs to get done, which is like so nice. And it's like a complete switch from, you know, there's a couple of there's a couple of female characters in like the Moore era and less so in the Dalton. It's almost like it swings back the other way. But this movie, right out of the gate, they're like, we're gonna have sort of like a very beautiful but like plainly dressed Bond girl. We're not going to have like a typical Bond girl, and also she's going to be able to do everything that they need to do to succeed in their quest at the end of the movie. It's like without her, Bond wouldn't have been able to do it, and I appreciate that. And I don't think that all the Brosnan movies stay in that realm. Sometimes they do, but they're not to this level. I don't think. I think that they're far more respectful of the character of Natalia than they are for like later on with like Christmas Jones or whatever. I think that's her name.
Yes,
because James Bond says, "I thought Christmas only came once a year."
Heyo,
James, pervert.
Xenia arrives with the colonel and the helicopter, and then guess what happens, guys? Guess what happens?
That's when they said the name of the movie in the movie.
Goldeneye.
This is one of those movies where they say it a bunch of times, but at 32 minutes and 35 seconds, they say it for the first time. Where I think Trevelyan's not there yet. Somebody says, I think Boris maybe says, we're going to test the Goldeneye. I was like, yep.
Yes, they test it, but then also we get to see the sweet double keys. I love double keys so
Do you like
much.
double keys when two people turn the key at the
Oh
same
my
time? Because
God,
that
it's
is
so
a
satisfying.
thing that happens many times in this movie, and I love it as well.
Every time, it doesn't get old. Every time they're like on my count, 3, 2, 1, go, and they do it perfectly every time. But my brain every time is like, what if they do it wrong? What happens?
Yeah,
It's like let's do it again. Let's do it again.
It's like when you accidentally put in the wrong code on your iPhone too many times in a row, it locks you out for a minute.
You gotta
Also,
wait
is it
30
not-
minutes.
Yeah, we have to
Is
wait.
it not far enough away, like that you could just reach both?
I feel like it's slightly too far, unless you got a
Just a little
huge
too far?
wingspan. Yeah.
The next henchman is like this NBA player. Just like, I got it.
NBA player could definitely turn those two.
Kemi Mutombo comes out in the outfit that Zenya's wearing. Don't worry, I got it.
That would be funny.
No. But as they prepare to do that, Xenia fucking shoots up the place, except the Colonel and Natalia survives too. And I never noticed when I was a kid what the Goldeneye actually looked like. When I was a kid, I thought the antenna at the end was the Goldeneye. But that's mostly
that's
me
fair.
forgetting things. Like that's
But also that's a
forgetting stuff.
fair assumption because like it's part of the Goldeneye. It controls where it moves and how it gets there. So technically your stupid child mind is correct.
I'm a dumb kid, baby brain.
The Goldeneye itself, the satellite, is kind of boring looking, but I do like its reveal, how it's like inside of like a cigar shaped container that just like explodes open and it like unfurls. But yeah, it's sort of like super basic because when you like think about the last Brosnan movie compared to the first Brosnan movie, the villains kind of have like the similar. They've got a space satellite that is causing devastation. There's a lot of snow stunts, but like not as good as the stunt at the beginning of this movie. He surfs in that one, by the way, guys. He parasails on a surfboard. That is not a surfboard. It's a door to like an escape pod or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's not great. But that one, it's like a space laser. So it's kind of cool. But at the same time, you can see the evolution of how crazy the Brosnan movies eventually got, where there's like literally like a hell diver style laser just cutting through the entirety of the world.
Which is
I'm
awesome.
interested to know your. Ooh.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jamil. We can answer the door in a minute. They can wait.
The door. You don't leave someone at the door.
Who's at the door?
Hey, congratulations on 200 episodes. That is an amazing achievement. But remember, you need 300 to get those glistening, oily 8-pack abs that you can show off to all your buddies before you run out into battle with barely any clothing on. So, here's to the next 100.
I like how you didn't cut that out at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Michael Chan's a pervert, and we love him for it.
Thank you, Michael.
Sorry, Jamil. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, don't worry. When the door rings, you must answer. Yeah. I totally forgot what I was talking about.
You said I'm interested to hear your take on something, but I don't remember what it is. But
on Tomorrow Never Dies, just because it is, especially, I think the distance from Tomorrow Never Dies versus Die Another Day is wildly apart. It is such different movies in terms of its tone.
Tonally, yeah. And then like, what was the other one? Die Another Day, and then what was the other one?
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Not enough.
Tomorrow Never Dies. And
World is Not Enough. Yeah.
The world of the world of is not enough is pretty good. I like that one quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
And it also has
even with Denise Richards.
Yeah. Yeah. The end of that movie not great, but like a lot of it is pretty decent. But like the submarine fight and stuff, and like the villain is interesting. It's like a guy who can't feel pain because he's got like a bullet in his brain or something. Like all that stuff is pretty cool. But yeah, Die Another Day is when it gets real. Like, there's a guy he's got like alopecia, he's got no hair at all, and no eyebrows, no hair. His eyes are like shockingly blue. He's also Asian, which is like, so it's like kind of like odd looking, and he's got diamonds all like embedded in his face. Like he could easily go to a dermatologist and get those removed. He's walking around forever with
I'm a
diamonds.
supervillain now.
But he looks so cool, but it is so weird. It's like Jaws level
it's-
odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that movie is basically a backdoor pilot as well.
For what?
For the Jinx movie.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's so cool. He fights inside of an ice castle as it's melting. Like it's so it's crazy.
It's such a it's a
Maybe I love that movie.
Well,
I mean, it's got a banger song too, Madonna.
Those movies are fragmented in my head because those were on like the movie network, and I only caught them bits and pieces. I remember that Madonna did one of them, but she came
And
back.
it's good too. It's like super
in the late 90s.
poppy.
Yeah,
and
that's my least favorite Bond song.
You don't like it. I like it. I don't necessarily like it as a Bond song, but I like the song.
We like it in general.
It's no Goldeneye. You know, Goldeneye is like peak Bond songs in my mind. The World Is Not Enough, not so much. Or sorry, Die Another Day, not so much. But I still like the song. I remember when it would come on the radio because every time a Bond song comes out, oh yeah, I was like, yeah.
My favorite Bond song is the Weird Al one from Spy Hard. That's my favorite James Bond.
I do love that song too.
It's a good song. I like that his head blows up at the end.
Exactly. So they arm the weapon. We have the satellite device. They show the satellite. They hear something as it happens, and Natalia is like scrambling to escape. Onatop goes into the room and fucking just shoots at the vent.
This also shows how smart Natalia is as well, because she makes it look like she crawled into the vent, but she actually did not. She hid inside the cupboards. We
get one of those dumb like Bond like moments, like one-liners where she says, "I just had to ventilate something," and it's so like all of those lines. Bond says them, and then in this movie, a bunch of people say them. They're just for the audience for like a dumb pun, and it's fine, but it's very obvious when you're watching so many James Bond movies in succession. I just had to ventilate someone.
Yeah. Sounds like you need to just ventilate about that fucking opinion of yours.
It's fair enough. You just ventilated my opinion with your own opinion. It's clear I had to ventilate someone is the line.
Yeah,
I wrote,
which I'm like, is that it? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You're right. It's so silly. But you know, it's a Bond movie. They're gonna do it, and it's a new James Bond, a new world, a new era, a new tone completely. It looks so different from the other Bond movies. Like you can, like you were saying earlier, Jason. It's like the last Dalton movie has a very particular '80s look, and because it's the end of the '80s, it's still kind of like hasn't evolved as much yet. This is 6 years later, and it is full '90s mode in the best way possible.
Mid-90s,
Yeah,
when the '90s really popped off, like. Leather jackets are still around, and like those like the suits that James Bond wears in this almost feel 80s, but
some of them are so bad. I'm like, why is he wearing look at that tie on Bond when he's in like the graveyard of statues or whatever, and he's wearing like a blue suit and like a crazy pattern tie. I'm like, used car
power tie.
Who are you going to meet? Yeah.
Maybe we should get Tim a power tie for the next episode so he doesn't have to wear this tight pants again.
Yeah. He's got his power tie
Stanley
on.
Ipkiss approved.
Yeah, he's locked in. He's Stanley Ipkiss locked in, approved. We meet Moneypenny in this movie. Not in for very long, but she does remind me of the older Moneypenny. And they do have the same sort of sexual tension. And she's straight up says to Bond, like, we've never gotten it on. And she like threatens to call HR on him.
For not having sex with her.
Yeah.
You've had sex with everyone else. I think that it's
and then
the same tone as the rest of the movies where they have a mutual respect for one another, and they like to keep that distance, and because there's a certain professional balance that they strike. But I also do truly believe that they love each other. Like they're also like
that's
deeply in love with each other.
I think it's unrequited like coworker love. Like that's
I also
his work wife.
Yeah, and I also appreciate that they cast somebody who is of similar age to Brosnan rather than make her younger or old,
Like
much
a
older.
PYT.
Yeah, exactly. It feels good. This movie isn't doing the nasty stuff from the old Bonds, and it's not doing any of the overly gritty stuff of the new James Bond movies.
I have to pop away for 2 seconds. The next scene is James Duty Dench. So if you want to just lay that out.
Her office sucks. I like the old M office where it's like leather bound books and chairs and like mahogany and hardwood and weird statues. Her office looks like the most boring ass 90s business person office that you've ever seen.
Like, this is not my office. I'm currently borrowing someone's office as they're doing renovations. So
Yeah.
this is just the generic
It's
office
just
that
a
we have.
bland
Our
office.
ghost office.
Yeah, but she's got bourbon. She loves bourbon. I think that he says like your predecessor kept scotch in the cupboard, and she's like, "Nah, we're drinking whiskey, baby." I mean, I guess scotch is technically whiskey too,
Yeah.
but I like that she doesn't pull her punches with him. You know, she gives him the lowdown of what's going on and walks him through the mission. He's being a bit of a prick and saying like, you mean all the decisions that you guys made that failed? Like, remember all that stuff that I told you and you guys told me it wasn't important? Well, it turned out it was important. Maybe you should have listened to me. And she's like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't give a fuck about you. I'll send you into a volcano and to die. I don't care.
And it felt like this movie had a mandate to kind of modernize Bond with his relationship with women specifically. That's why the Moneypenny relationship with M being in charge and being someone at least who doesn't automatically just like, well, 00, please be safe, right?
Yeah.
She's very stern, kind of fighting against the old boys club that she probably had to go through. Even with On a Top, where it's like, oh, like regularly James would sleep with every single woman that's in the movie, right? Like that doesn't happen in that one. She is a villain. He does not sleep with her. So it's interesting.
I think I think you're right because it's successful. I think in that regard in terms of like reevaluating and examining his relationship with women and like sort of the lack of respect that he seems to have for them through the entirety of the franchise. This is like the 17th movie or something, I think. Like it's up there. And it took him that long to be like, maybe we should make him less of a misogynistic asshole. Maybe we'll have someone call him out on it. And like, you know, what better way to do that than to make his new boss somebody who's like, your fucking boyish charms don't work on me. I will send you to your death, but I'll never do it flippantly. As I will always have a plan, and sending you to your death is always going to be a last resort for me. So I'm not going to just let you run around and do whatever the fuck you want. You have to listen to me. I have lots of analysts in place that know what they're doing.
Which is great because it also lends credence to the idea that the like the 007 moniker can be a different person. So in this movie, they literally change it in front of our eyes to a woman, and they reference the old M. Bond doesn't like the way new M does business, which is awesome. And I loved all the stuff you were saying. It's got these feminist undertones of this film are very clear and present. Natalia acts a little bit like a no agency Bond girl, but she's the smartest person in the room all the time. She's just nervous, and that's her only real downfall. But M is the hardest nosed M we've seen to date because she's like, fuck your fucking ideals. You're a dinosaur. She calls him a dinosaur.
Yeah.
She calls like he's an antiquated
Bygone
fucking
era.
utility. Yeah. And that's absolutely correct and it never really changes, but he is that like hard-headed moron who is always preoccupied with like sex and blowing shit up to get his way. He's like a petulant child, James Bond is. And M calls him out. And I love that I heard all of what you guys were saying. And I fucking love.
I think I agree with everything you just said, except for Natalia acting like a no agency Bond girl, because I think that she continuously and constantly is like diving out of the way of explosions and like almost getting crushed by things. And she's escaping from death constantly. Like, I think that she like maybe in her like softness, in her like
That's
tone,
that's what I'm
but like
talking
her
about, yeah.
actions in no way are are sort of no agency. They're like
No,
they're
no,
almost
I'm not.
have more agency than Bond at times. Like, she's
Yes,
just-
absolutely. I'm not saying she has no agency. She has that. I guess softness is the correct way to look at it. And they at first you think she's going to be one of those like vapid Bond girls
Who just
when she's
automatically
like hiding in the kitchen.
comes to his
Yeah.
masculinity
Yeah,
and his
but
charm.
Even within the same scene of you feeling that way, you are proven otherwise within seconds almost. Like as soon as the attack happens, she's like she knows what she's doing. She hides, and she hides in a smart way to trick them, and then she escapes from being locked inside of an underground facility by climbing up through a flaming satellite. It's fucking crazy.
And then finding the dogs.
Yeah, and which
the
infers
sled
that
dog.
she knows how to use a dog sled.
Yeah.
Who the fuck could just pilot a dog sled? I wouldn't be able to do that shit.
I wasn't trying to like diminish or discredit who she is.
Yeah, I think it was
just
just
saying
I
that
think it was
like,
just the way you worded it. I wanted to make sure that you weren't
Mhm.
saying something that was untrue.
No, she's definitely one of the best Bond girls like of the 8 movies we've done on the show. Like even with some of the like the better ones,
Absolutely.
she
I
still
think
kind of
that
trumps them.
even like the character in Doctor No, like it hasn't like from all the movies we've done, she's had the most agency up until Natalia. I think like I might be forgetting one or two, but I'm pretty sure that like out
Is
of
that
all
Honey
the
Rider?
I can't remember she's like the woman who's like they find her on the island and she's like collecting shells or whatever, and she's like, I sell these to moronic tourists for a lot of money. But yeah, so I mean, I guess I just described it, but they use the Goldeneye on this facility. We don't see them kidnap Boris, so there's almost a point where a few minutes where we think he may have died, but turns out that they kidnap him because they need somebody who knows how to use all the technology. But this is where I'm like, I thought it was just an EMP. It's like it doesn't just turn the satellite off and erase all the computers. It starts exploding. So I'm like, I guess there's some sort of devastating effect that it also has on electronics that I don't really fully understand.
Oh yeah, like we haven't even gotten to that point yet. Yeah. So the EMP goes off, kills comms, takes all the jets in the area that are like investigating. Pretty good miniatures start appearing here as well. The Goldeneye was built during the Cold War. It stopped a nuke before during the Cold War that went off in like the upper atmosphere with the Goldeneye. So it's very powerful. And then so after they EMP the place, the helicopter lands, and that's the reason why they stole that Tiger helicopter, because it's EMP proof. They spot Natalia on the radar escaping also during the sequence.
Bond does. Apparently no one else noticed it.
Yeah.
The very yeah, exactly. The very bright white glowing dot moving away from the burning bright white fire. It's like, I think that's a person, guys, walking towards those dogs.
We're still in that. It's a back and forth thing where you guys kind of already laid it all out, but this is when Bond.
Yeah, we've covered it all. We don't need to, yeah.
Okay. Urmov talks about his plan with some sort of board. He's with the defense minister, and they know that Natalia is potentially still alive. And then after that, the defense minister is going to come back. Sorry, what were we going to say?
No, and then
it's an interesting scene where they're talking to the board because the general does not know that Natalia survived, but they do, right? They're like, 2 people survived, and you can see this guy, good actor, man. It's over the top, and like, no, if you're trying to hide your feelings or your thoughts, this guy's doing a poor job, but it's very satisfying to watch his face drop so heavily upon learning that Natalia is still alive. And he's like, well, we got to find her and kill her because she knows what we did. Because at this point, he thinks that they're going to fire him for failing his job, but they're all like, no, we want you to do your job because you're really good at your job. So he's still within the government, and they have absolutely no clue that how much he's betrayed them at this point, which is intriguing, and I like it, and adds sort of a layer of tension, but it also is probably one of the explanations as to why this guy is so stressed out the entire movie, just constantly sipping on his booze.
I didn't mean to do the and then thing, but the reason why I thought we were over it because the next scene is fucking incredible. It's the first Q full on maximum Q scene I think we've seen in 8 films on this show. And it's an incredible mix of all of the Q scenes we've seen up to this point. He starts off in a wheelchair that shoots missiles.
Out of a cast. Shoots it out of a cast. Yeah. It's like,
we're
just
introduced
in case our double O has to pretend to be in a cast.
Yeah. Or needs to get a rocket launcher into like a fucking stadium or something, like a football stadium.
We're introduced to a BMW that has so many bells and whistles that aren't really they're not even used in this movie.
Yeah, he doesn't even drive that car. It was just
that same car is in like Die Another Day or something, right? Because I remember
usually an Aston Martin, but it's just a BMW for this one. But it was just a car commercial for a second. Just a split second of the movie just turns into a car commercial. And we're like, what?
It's like there's missiles behind the headlights.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I hope I see that later in the movie.
Honestly, the editing of this sequence is so good. The way it cuts from one thing to another, it's so comedically timed that everything you're seeing is just punctuated by the editing that makes it so much funnier. Like the whole sequence is actually hilarious. Yeah,
stuff happening in the background.
Yeah.
License to Kill is mentioned, but no license to break traffic laws. Then we get the scene with like, here's all your gadgets, a belt with a climbing rope. And then in the background, as Jamil said, there's a telephone box that has an inflatable thing in it for some reason, which reminds me of the couch in that one James Bond movie, I think in the first Timothy Dalton, where the couch inflates and the guy like gets sucked under it.
Or it just like folds backwards and the guy gets eaten by the couch. And it's like, does it trap them in there? Is there air? I don't. Who's that for villains? I don't understand. Or just a quick hiding place.
What's the phone box for?
I assume to trap people inside the phone booth, but yeah, it's also one of those things where it's like they're gonna just be some weird shit in the background that it's like we don't even know why we're making this one 007, but stop asking me so many questions, Bond. You really need a license to chew.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, it also has, I think, the funniest Q line in any James Bond movie, which is Bond picks up a submarine sandwich and Q is like, "Don't touch that. It's my lunch." Like, okay.
And he picks it up like a fucking gun's gonna come out of it.
Or like a knife comes out of it.
That's my sandwich.
Or it's like what is it, The Office, where the guy comes with like the pipe inside of the sandwich to beat Oscar up or whatever. Just pulls out a lead pipe.
We're also introduced to the pen bomb, which has it's another one of those like a certain amount of clicks has it go up, which is one of my favorite scenes in this whole movie. Later, spoilers, where he's like watching the clicks.
I think it's
we'll talk about
also
when we get there.
Out of like a lot of Bond movies, they kind of are clumsy with the Q stuff, where it's like Q will introduce him to a gadget and he will use the gadget at some point. But in this movie, that pen bomb becomes so sort of like integral to the plot at the end and like the progression of it, where it's like a lot of the other movies, it's like he gets the gadget and you're just sort of waiting for him to use it in some way. Right?
Do the thing that the gadget does. You get to see it.
Exactly. Here's your explosive cigarettes. Here's your gun camera or whatever. The last movie had some wild, weird shit in it. I was like, what is
toothpaste
going on
that's actually C4 explosives. I'll never forget that.
But this one, it's like, it's an indiscriminate pen, which is cool that it has a crazy explosive inside of it. But I also love that they set up that Boris is like a weird, fidgety ADHD kid who like has to fidget with a pen the whole time. And you're like, oh, they're setting up this whole thing, this pen thing perfectly. And it's a happy accident in the movie, but it's also like, it's very cool. And I think, in my opinion, good writing, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who would call it lazy and piss poor, but I think it rocks. Yeah.
I think that it's responsible writing, right? You don't introduce a gun and then not have it be used, at all in the movie, right?
Chekhov's pen.
Yes. So
you should have said Chekhov's exploding pen or smoking pen.
So they've done
actually just a vape
with a variety of things.
Chekhov's vape. That's what the new Bond is going to have, a vape that if you puff on it 3 times, it fucking is a nuke.
Having especially nowadays, I guess we're just used to it in general, where movies are made on the fly and things kind of just go nowhere. You have an example of a movie where it really feels like the beginning sets up a lot of these things that we see, and everything is called back, right? At the end, you're paying attention, you're going to be rewarded with this information of what's going to happen one after the other.
I also, not to dwell on this for too long, but like a lot of Bond movies, he gets the gadget and then almost the next scene he's using it, right? So I really like the fact that like just enough time passes that you almost forget about the pen until Trevelyan is like, nice pen or whatever, throws it on the counter. I'm like, oh, he's got the bomb pen. I forgot about the bomb pen. But he's far more interested in the more flashy gadgets that he's familiar with because, you know, as we know, he also was a 00 agent as well. So he has a watch too, but, you know, he knows how to use Bond's watch, and he knows like, oh, he's armed it because the little red light's on. I just need to press a couple buttons to disarm the mines that he's put everywhere. Also, those mines look so cool.
Yeah,
I love those mines so much. Yeah, they're exact, and he doesn't even get used the amount. I even once really the way that in the game they had the they got the detonator mine and the proximity mine.
Yeah, the remote mines and proximity mines. Yeah, he didn't want to use the proximity ones, guys. He needed to time it. I do also. Actually, we'll talk about it when we get to it. I'm jumping ahead a little bit in my mind, but yeah, the Q scene. I think we all agree. Whoa, who's there?
Anything else you want to add to production? I thought it was shot pretty good.
Jake?
The music should draw here, I think.
Oh, hi. Jason, Steve, Jake here. Thanks for having me on the show over the years, and it's been a wild ride. Congratulations. And, yeah.
Oh, it's our number one fan.
Yeah.
Thanks,
He's
Jake.
masturbating to his own episode. Thanks, Jake. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Who is it? Who is it?
Hey, what's up? Mike here from the Sonar Podcast Network. And Mariana's here too. So, hey, Mariana.
Hi.
Yeah, she's excited, almost as excited as I am, because guess what? The big exciting news. You heard about it, right, Mariana?
Yeah.
Steven and Jason are, of course,
Getting married.
getting married. Congratulations to you both. I'm so excited you're taking your podcast to the next level. It's finally happened. You finally decided to throw the podcast away and embrace what was there in front of you all along, and you're moving to Peru together. I'm so excited for your next step. And all the best wishes. I wish you many, many beautiful days and many, many gorgeous blue skies ahead. All the best wishes to you both. I love you both very much, and I wish you all the best. So this is Mike here, again, from the Sonar Podcast Network, Canada's first and only podcast network, and Mariana as well.
Hi.
And we both feel equally excited. So goodbye, good luck, and may the Lord's light shine upon you on this wonderful day. Happy birthday.
Very good. Thank you, Mike and Mariana.
Thank you, Mike and Mariana.
They're
That's
both
fucking
so funny.
Yeah. Effortlessly too. That I've watched that like so many times, and it makes me laugh every time.
I like that even he didn't know what he was going to say. just kind of slowly came out of him. Anyway, moving on. James
Bond goes to Russia.
Yeah, he goes to Russia.
And he meets Wade.
Yeah,
he meets an American. Is it Wade?
Yes, it's Jack Wade.
Right. Bond interrogates him. He's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he shows him the rose tattoo. Right. Okay.
Which is on his butt. And then right afterward, Wade says, "You into gardening, Bond?" And I'm like, "Is that a euphemism?"
You want to root me?
Yeah.
So they fuck. James
yeah, I'm
Bond is
assuming that they
bisexual
did
now.
his car. Yeah, he's a little bit of a, he's a little bit of a, I don't know, a hard ass Jack Quaid, but like he's by the end of the movie he grows on you. Actually, by the end of the scene he grows on you. It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
And,
I like this character actually.
it could have been so easy for them to make it Felix Leiter, but I'm kind of glad they didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think that Jack Quaid is like a recurring character. I mean, the guy who plays him was literally a James Bond villain at one point. Which
Really?
one was? Yeah, we've already done it on the show. Remember, he's
'Cause
like,
he looked familiar.
yeah, he is in. Let me just look it up. You guys talk while I look it up.
Well, the next scene, it's on to the next scene. Boris, it turns out he survived, and he communicates with Natalia, who goes to an IBM shop, one of the best product placements I've ever seen in a movie. She goes to an IBM store where it's like, you can go into this other room and test out the computers. Imagine if you went to the Genius Bar and they were like, go into this separate room and test out this Mac.
You can do whatever you want to. Yeah, just go in there.
He played Brad Whitaker in The Living Daylights.
Oh, okay.
You might remember that their grand finale battle is him wearing like a weird, like bulletproof shield, and they're fighting inside of like a miniature model.
But he
room.
wasn't the same guy, but he played a similar character in this, like a weird American, like army monger.
I think this guy is
interesting.
Not that he's a bad actor. It's just that he generally plays the same sort of character in most things that he's in.
Okay.
Which, nothing wrong with that, but it is weird that he was literally a James Bond villain and then now is a James Bond ally. It's like they couldn't find anyone else that hasn't already been in a Bond. But,
playing a hyper militant fucking weirdo.
He dies in that movie. I remember watching it being like, is this
yeah.
going to be the same character? Like, does he have a heel turn at some point? And then at the end of Living Daylights, I'm like, oh, he's dead. Never
mind. Natalia and Boris agree to meet. We meet. Then we go over to Valentin, that whole sequence, this weird bar that's like American themed.
I love all the Russia stuff.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
They
think-
agree to make it.
I was just gonna say, I think like I love sort of like the size of that boardroom they're in, how it's like comically large, and like I love all the architecture that they show off, and even like later on when they're on that train and everything about it is like a little bit gaudy, but also like I dig the vibe, I like the architecture of Russia. If it wasn't so homophobic, I'd like to go there one day.
Right.
Uh-oh, who's it? Is it Putin?
Here comes Vladimir.
So they say it's your 200th episode. 200 episodes of Hey, did you see this one? What an accomplishment for a couple guys to talk about movies with passion, gusto, flair, debonair, and all good things that come with entertaining a rabid fan base of podcast listening movie fans. So congratulations to you two gentlemen for 200 episodes of Hey, did you see this one?
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. I'm
Is
glad
he
you could be here to see that.
He sounded a little sarcastic.
Yeah, it did. It's like debonair. Okay.
Deb Air sounds like a Bond girl.
Deborah Nair.
Oh,
She's
there-
hairless.
Yeah.
Write that down.
I thought of one, or Danny actually came up with it. Aphrodisiac for like a blaxploitation character
Yes.
from a Bond movie. Yeah.
Shazam! She punches people.
Shazam.
Shazam.
Isn't that what
Yeah,
Foxy
Beyonce says
Cleopatra-
that in Gold.
Yeah, that's Foxy
Yeah.
Cleopatra, right?
Yeah.
So there's this interesting moment where they try to make a deal. They're gonna like drive a hearse in with a with a casket filled with explosives, and then they're going, or money that's also rigged to blow, and then they're going to leave with Janice or leave to meet Janice. I don't know. This whole conceit was a little bit harebrained because it never actually happens. It really is just it really is just the ability to have Bond abuse this man, and then also have this man abuse his mistress by being like, this American music is kind of driving me nuts. And Valentine's like, you get out of here, get out. Which I laughed out loud at.
He says, "Who's strangling the cat?" Is
Yeah.
what Bond says about her singing. Love you too, World Mind. And yeah, I mean,
you improvised that, Chris? I can
from the
tell.
heart.
From the point where you were just like staring off into space trying to gather your. But thank you, Chris. I
It was a
appreciate
nice
your
message.
time and your effort. Yeah, it was nice. Thank you.
But yeah, this is also an opportunity for us to meet a new character that becomes sort of a staple of the Brosnan Bond era, and I like him. He's fun, but he also is the one who reveals the where to meet. Am I wrong about this? I can't remember.
No, that's
Yeah. So, and then this is also where we then come across the fact that Trevelyan is still alive. He's a ghost, and I guess he got burned by the. When I was a kid, I always was like, I thought that the wound on his face was from getting shot, like he actually accidentally shot him, and it's like so clearly not like he got caught in the explosion. That's what happened. It's not even on the right side of his face for the bullet. How dumb was I as a child that I thought?
No, I think I agree with you, and I think that I had the same thing because watching it this time, I was like, oh, he got blown up, so he's got like the Two-Face thing. But what I learned about Janice and Trevelyan in this is that he is the actual antithesis of James Bond. He's the complete opposite. So he has to be like disfigured, bad with women, doesn't give a shit about London, doesn't give a shit about Britain.
Not even that he doesn't give a shit about London. He hates it.
He hates
it. Every time he says for England,
because of his Cossack fucking parents or whatever.
Every time he says for England, he's just lying because he actually hates England. He holds a grudge against all of England because they executed his parents. And you know what? To be fair, I would probably be pretty sore if somebody executed my parents as well, even though they were Nazis. Yeah, not my parents, his parents. My parents were Nazis. Yeah.
That would have been an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
Did you call us Nazis?
But it's also just a cool set piece, like the idea of meeting in this sort of dilapidated. I called it a graveyard earlier of Soviet era statues that were torn down and they just have been stored in this area, I guess. And
there's a scene before that though. There's a scene because smash cut to James Bond lying in a pool.
Yeah, it's the.
Oh fuck! I forgot about this. Yeah,
Xenia comes in and fucking seduce bang fights him, and I just wrote Bond versus Xenia on a top fight. Fuck.
I feel like he was really. This is where I'm like, Bond, you idiot! Don't you know? Like you found the corpse of the guy who she killed with his like crushed spine and like the air. Would you not have put two and two together? Do not get near this woman. She's gonna strangle you with her legs.
Yeah.
But it was more than him putting the gun down that I'm like, oh god. I do like that he burns your butt.
I'm just gonna casually put it there in front of her so she sees where the gun is too,
and knows that I don't have it anymore.
So do you guys think that he legitimately was like, I am going to have sex with this woman, it's going to be fine? Because that's how I felt about him.
I believe he did, even though he almost like severed his lip from fighting. She's scary. And then also while they're fighting, just a random man comes in and he hits him in the face with like a metal bucket, knocks him out. I'm like, who is that guy?
My headcanon is the same guy from the boat at the beginning. He's just back. He's fine.
No, that guy thought that James Bond was beating up a woman. He's like, you can't leave that woman alone, sir. He was actually a hero.
But like Bond's casualness during this fight is just kind of insane. Right, like even when he's like, "Oh, you bit my lip," and then he casually goes for the gun, but he's like sauntering over. Like, what?
He doesn't die for it. He's not scared of her, and he should be because she's pretty scary.
Yeah.
But he subdues her, and then she's the one that drives him to the graveyard. I forgot about that. And then he karate chops her, which I'm like, yes.
That's what I was saying to Jamil in the pre-show. The slapper thing from the game, he does the literal chop that you see in that video game to her, because he has the gun on her. They pull up, and then as he gets into the car, he just goes judo chop.
Except he does a judo chop, and then he says like "sweet dreams" or some shit.
Yeah, that's what he says. Sweet dreams or some shit.
But we do miss one of the classic lines where he goes, "No, no, no."
Oh,
No
right.
more foreplay.
Yeah, when she's screaming yes as she's getting off on murdering him. She's maybe the most psychotic James Bond character out of all, out of all the movies.
I love her.
Yeah, I do not. I find it. Oh, who's there?
Congratulations on your 200th episode. Hey, did you see this one? Kudos on your dedication, Jason and Steven. 200 episodes. Wow. Let's do the math on that, shall we? We got, 200 episodes? Say an average 6-hour runtime per episode. It's like 1,200 hours. Like, how many weeks is that? I mean, here's to many more weeks, fellas. Congratulations.
Thanks, David.
David.
Never misses an opportunity to take a dig at the runtime of the show.
Oh my God. He looks very let's say Messiah-esque.
Right. Biblical.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And the light just shining above his head.
That tracks. That
Oh.
tracks. So Janice
sorry, just quickly, I cannot tell you how much pleasure I got whenever Davin was on this podcast, because we would literally sometimes we'd match up on another podcast I'd be on at the same time, and we would be flicking back to check the runtime. We just know it's killing him. It's yes. Let's go.
He was,
the hours.
he was the first person to call us out on our Promising Young Woman episode, which was nearly 6 hours. So
that was
a
little bit crazy.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get Noel and Cass on the same episode.
We knew it was
they both
coming.
talk a lot.
Yeah.
Me and you didn't even talk that much that episode.
Did you break that episode up into two?
Fuck no.
No.
And
It's
it
for
has a
people
high
who watch
view
it at
count.
work. Yeah. There's a couple
Exactly.
people that watch this while they're at work. So that takes up the majority of their whole workday.
Yeah.
So good for them for sticking with it. I had a thing I was gonna say. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, it's a meeting in a cool graveyard of statues. I think it's a really interesting visual. I remember that level of the video game kind of frightened me when I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, it's so scary. Because it was kind of misty and the statues were creepy and just everything about it had this sort of
The level that freaked
scary
me out
tone.
as a kid when you're in the open, it's like an open level in the like the tundra, like it's an open level.
Siberia.
It's dark. Yeah, it's dark in the distance of Siberia. You have to go around to like the buildings.
There's
I
two
think
Siberia
Valentin is the
levels.
boss.
I love the first one, but the second one's frightened me. Yeah, because the
Yeah.
second one, the sky is red for some reason.
Yes.
Why are we in hell all of a sudden?
It's the color we had. We're Nintendo. Why are you playing this?
We had to make it different than the last time you were here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is the revelation that he's alive, and he kind of reveals. He doesn't reveal his plan, but he does reveal that he's like, I'm behind all of this shit that you've been investigating. It's all me, baby.
I literally wrote, Janice is traveling. What a twist. Why? No clear answer. He sort of does he just sort of does like a villain speech, but doesn't really get to the point other than like, my parents were Cossacks and they were ousted from their country and I watched my parents die, so I have to like avenge them. But we also find out Bond's parents were killed in a climbing accident. I don't know if that's like lore. If that's already
It is.
been
That's
established.
always, That's always
Yeah.
been his parents' death. Yeah.
Feels Batman-y.
I think Skyfall gets into it quite a bit, and then so does
Yeah.
the one with Blofeld, the Christoph Waltz Blofeld stuff. Yeah. I think it's Spectre.
Spectre, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't love Spectre. Love Skyfall though.
A lot of promise. It kind of fell flat.
Yeah.
Janice is a two-faced god. which was an interesting thing to point out. Also, Janice was going to ask Bond to join his side, but he knew like he really couldn't. Bond is drugged and wakes up in a helicopter, arm to blow with Natalia. And he also takes the time to say, she's like, "Wake up, Mr. Bond, wake up, Mr. Man." And he's like, "I'm a little tied up right now." It's like, God damn it. We can't get away from these fucking Bond one-liners.
Listen, I love them though.
Well, it's part of the DNA.
Pierce
of the
Brosnan
James
was
Bond
like,
movie.
"Give me more." I could say I'm tied up right now, maybe, or something.
Well, how about he just headbutts various things in order to escape? How about that moment, which I thought was
he's
excellent.
got his hands are tied up. How's he gonna?
Yeah.
What else is he gonna do? Also, he's had so many concussions. His brain is basically mashed potatoes.
So he puts together that Natalia is the one that escaped the Goldeneye incident. Bond tells Natalia to trust him, and they sit with the defense minister in the next scene. So they get out of it. It blows up. They go to the defense minister.
And for good reason, she's wary because she doesn't know who this man is, for one, and every single person that she's known has either been murdered or betrayed her. So it's like she's kind of wary, and I again shows how smart she is as a character to not just be like, "Okay, handsome person, help me."
I like in this next scene too, where they're sitting down with the defense minister and multiple villains just start entering. Like they just keep coming in and being like, "Well, actually," I really like that. Ormov shows up. He kills the defense minister. They have a shooter and escape. And then they go to the archives right from the video game.
Right from the video games.
Yeah.
Also a cool set piece. I like that it's sort of like the graded floors and just very sort of like, it just feels sort of like a little bit shitty, but also futuristic at the same time. There's like it's kind of achieving this weird balance of like old world with like new world, and I really enjoy it. I also just like the sparks and stuff from the guns. Like
it feels real. That's the thing. It doesn't feel like a set. It feels real, which like whenever you kind of have that, it just provides more of an immersive feeling to whatever you're watching.
Yeah.
Right.
And it does. And it also it's something that you wouldn't see anymore because archives are mostly all digital now, right? There's very rare are there like hard copies of things that exist in the real world. I'm sure they do exist elsewhere, but like in terms of any business or infrastructure is like they're not going to be having a giant warehouse full of boxes of folders.
You only see archives anymore if it's like an Indiana Jones type of archaeology type of movie. That's
a cool one.
Time.
Yeah.
I like when they get to a dead end and James Bond is like, he pulls off his belt and says, "Trust me," and then he's got his fucking extendable rope belt.
Yeah, that crazy synth music. Yeah, so good. And then Oromov captures Natalia again. Like, oh my god! But in her defense, there's a lot of people coming after them, and James Bond yeets himself out a fucking window.
And then gets a fucking tank.
Which, I was talking about this last week. I'm not a huge fan of car chases in movies, Jamil, but like every once in a while, there's something that really does it for me. So like Mad Max Fury Road, one long car chase. I love every second of it. And this movie, it's not a car chase. It's a tank chasing cars.
Yes.
It's great.
My note here is
Going
Bond gets
through
a
walls and
fucking Bond gets a fucking tank, and the Bond theme blares.
Yeah. And he's going through walls and pillars and just running things over. He's also like Tokyo drifting with the tank.
He drifts with it. Yeah. He smashes through a building. He crashes. He chases like by the water, and people are flying off. The truck flies into the water. There's so much chaos. You guys know that I love chaos in movies, and it's fully chaos. There's falling in the river, crushing cars, ends up with a statue on top of the tank that gets stuck and smashes two cop cars, which I also
maybe
love.
my favorite little level of the video game when you're just driving around in the tank in the city. Also, did you guys remember in the escaping the facility level, you could like go around the corner into like a room and there was a tank there and you could just drive around on the tarmac with a tank just running guys over.
Yeah,
love it. Whoa, my God, come in.
Congratulations, guys, on your Much Music Teen Choice Award. It's been a long time coming, but I know you stuck through it, you earned it, and you got a place in history now. So congratulations. I mean it from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Graham.
Oh my God, 2 doorbells.
Oh, hello. I'm Craig. You might remember me from some episodes of. Hey, did you see this one? It's a podcast. I'm just kidding, of course. I know the podcast very well, and I love Steven and Jason very much. I'm always so honored when they have me on the podcast. 200 episodes. Congratulations, guys. Hopefully we get 200 more and beyond. And I'm looking forward to being on more episodes. So let's make some more. Oh, pardon me. I have some work to get back to.
Oh, the slow fade out. This is so dramatic. Thanks, Craig. We love you.
Thanks, Craig. I like as it fades out, it's going, his glasses are going crazy. Yeah, Dave.
Same, Dave. The same. I think it might be my favorite, but we'll get to that when we start talking about that at the end. Teen Choice Award.
We have a Teen Choice Award from MTV and Much Music at this point.
I doubt even a single teenager has ever watched an episode of this show.
That is not true.
Okay.
That is not true. My my soon to officially be my daughter, she was watching the Invisible Man episode.
Oh,
the last one I was on, and she had some comments that we still laugh about to this day. Some information about men that came from that. She did question me on about men showering and how intensely do they shower, or do they rotisserie? Do they actually take a shower, or do they just turn around in a circle,
just pirouette?
Just get wet.
Do you guys wash your legs as millennials, or is that just me?
I wash my whole body thoroughly. I also scrub it with a coarse brush before you get all the dead skin off.
Yes. Yes, exfoliate your skin. Jason, your skin is one of the most important organs of your body. Take care of it, please.
I said, or is it just me, as in I do wash my legs?
Is it? Did I just call you out saying that maybe you should try harder? Jason, you have great skin. You have great skin.
So that's our episode for this week. That's 200 in the bag.
I'm gonna go take a shower.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take 10 showers now and exfoliate my legs.
It's just like fucking steel wool.
Also, I noticed that there's a scene where Bond rolls by in the tank, and it seems like he's just skulking along in a tank, he's just from the shoulders up, his head just goes, and I thought that was really funny.
I think the whole tank thing is great. Yeah. I also love that obviously I know it happened, so I was waiting for it, but I can't imagine seeing this in theater if they had not shown it in the trailers. I don't remember if they did or not, but him just blasting through a wall in a tank is just oh my God. What's Bond gonna do? Is he gonna have that shitty BMW? No, he's in a tank.
Yeah, that was in the commercials. That was in the commercials. I distinctly, it was one of the most important. The theme song just blares when he breaks through that wall in the tank in the commercials.
It's a pretty important moment, but I guess it was probably one of the larger price tag stunts that they do throughout the movie. But I also absolutely shortly after this is the train, and as we've discussed, I am a train weirdo. I fucking love trains. I love train levels in video games. When I was working for the board game company, we had this episodic adventure that came out every month, and there was a point where I'm like, guys, they're like, what? I'm like, we got to do a train episode. They're like, what? I'm like, everybody's favorite level in every video game is the train level. We got to do a train level. So I forced them to do a train level.
You're like, who's we?
Yeah, I think maybe just me. But yeah,
I'm with you. The other movie we did with the train bit reminded me of this, and this train bit is amazing. But the video game train part of this is better than the actual train part in the movie, because they don't spend a lot of time on the actual train. It's a situation where Bond rolls up in the tank and the train's going towards it.
It's
And they're
so
like,
good. That's what I was going to
derail
mention.
us.
Is like
Yeah.
I love so much that the tank just like slowly comes out of the darkness of a tunnel, like like oh my, it's like a Looney Tunes moment. So like this is
Yeah.
so good, but it's
But
also
in a good
super,
way.
yeah, it's like super intimidating as well to just like have this because you're thinking like, well, Bond probably ditched the tank to chase the train. No, he somehow got ahead of the train, and now
Yeah.
he's waiting for them on the tracks in the tank.
And then meanwhile, in the train, Trevelyan is like just force kissing Natalia. And I know that's gross, but it really hits home that he's like the antithesis of James Bond. That's what I love about this Bond villain. They were the same at one point, but now he's just like doing everything by the book in the opposite way, where he's just like, he's got no charisma. He's force kissing women and just being a disaster, man. She plays disgusted by it so well too.
I mean, it's pretty disgusting, and I can't imagine that the fact that he was, being that aggressive and gross about it probably helped in her acting choices. She's like,
but also kind of fits the jealousy aspect of it, because the assumption is that Bond will eventually, or has already gone with her, and he in his mind can't let that slide. It's like, look, I can have her too. Right, I can best him.
She tastes like strawberries.
And then Bond says, the response to that is, I wouldn't know, because he's like, I haven't, me and her are so far just work partners.
Yeah. He kind of.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of people.
Congratulations on this day, the 200th day of your episode show thingy that I was on once. It was the best show that you ever had, quite frankly. Happy 200th episode. Just keeps getting better. I'm gonna watch it tonight. I hope you do too. Not you, Jason and Steve, but the other. All right. 200 episodes. Oh my God! It's like an anime at this point.
Oh, it's the second person to make that.
The person that called us out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stewie.
2 episodes, no filler.
Yeah. Except for all the filler. Oh man, yeah. James Bond plays chicken with a Mack truck / train. Natalia is horny for being derailed, or not Natalia.
She is though.
Yeah,
She's also.
Veronica.
I think it's just violence.
You're gonna derail us.
Yeah, she's happy about it and horny about it, and it's like she's just horny for chaos. I think any violence at all, she's just like, this is awesome. I love this.
No, Dave, you're right. This is what I've been saying specifically, but yeah, Sean Bean is fucking great.
Yeah,
and
I almost like, and you keep saying the antithesis of Bond. I don't even know if it is. It's almost like a twisted, dark version of Bond. So like,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Because like, I would say that the man with the golden gun is the antithesis. Whereas like, not only does he not work for the government, never has, he like actively goes against the government and is paid crazy amounts of money for murdering people. Like that's like the mirror. Whereas this is like, what if something really twisted happened to Bond? Or if like
I think though
bad
that
things
Sean
that happened to
Bean
Bond affected him mentally to the point that it twisted him into this like revenge.
I think that Sean Bean could play James Bond, where I don't know if Christopher Lee could necessarily play James Bond.
Yeah, because he's the opposite. He's scary as Dracula. He is, and he's an evil wizard.
Yes.
That's like saying, like I would say, like he's really good at playing Saruman, but I don't know if he could play in the way that Ian McKellen played Gandalf. I'm pretty sure he was cast because it's like you're a pretty intimidating and scary guy, whereas Ian McKellen is like can be intimidating and scary, but also can be so warm and like grandfatherly and like you want to sit on his lap and read a book. But I had a point I was going to make, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway. The tank being used is also great because I wasn't sure if they were going to fire that thing or not, but they fire it directly into the nose of what is like basically a battering ram on rails.
Yeah.
I could not believe I don't remember the way that the front of that train looked, and it blew my mind how
a mechanical
that would-
rhino.
yeah, that's what a Soviet fucking train engine would look like, I think.
Also, like in the video game, we only talked about it briefly, but like the train way longer in the video game. It's like a full length cargo
It's a
train.
whole level.
Yeah.
And it's long.
Whereas this is they're just on it to go from point A. It's like a mobile sort of like command center or whatever.
And they don't really show like the cars of the train in this, but there's that one James Bond, the one where
Because there's only two.
decoder.
There's like the front,
Yeah.
and then there's like the one that they're inside of, and then I think like the one at the front is where all the computers and stuff are.
But the James Bond with the decoder, with the last Sean Connery one we did with the really bad Bond girl.
Oh, Russia.
The second, from Russia with Love. That James Bond train looks like it does in the video game. Which was
that's like
they're
on several trains in that movie, but they're literally on the Orient Express at one point in that movie, and then they go into another train. But yeah, those are passenger trains, right? Like they're for people to sleep on and stuff. This is like a military device.
Bond's on the train. He gets stuck there inside. Janice and Onatop make their escape along with Omanov. What's it? I can't remember his name. He has Natalia. Time for one shot. Gets Oromov, and the others escape. The watch laser makes an appearance as he tries to. So
I
I
thought
thought
it was the coolest shit ever as a kid, and I still think it's pretty cool. It's pretty dope.
Well, I thought it was funny that Natalia's trying to like hack the mainframe while he's like pulling up carpet and like using his fucking.
Well, this is another
watch to open
another
up the
piece of
bottom.
evidence that she is not only really good at what she does, but also badass. Because she's like, "What are you doing? I'm gonna do this. You gotta figure out how we're gonna get out of here." But I
your part.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're the guy who has all the gadgets and shit, right? I'm good at this. You do that. I need to figure out where they're going. And she gets just enough information to give them a lead, I guess, on where they need to head next. But I also like that it calls back to the beginning. Yeah. I also like that it calls back to the beginning where he's like, I gave you the same 6 minutes you gave me. And then Bond is like, we got 3 minutes. Like, I like that little sort of attention to detail, which is cool. And evil. Sean Bean is evil, guys, in this movie. I don't know if you can tell, but he's a Harvey Two-Face face.
They do a good enough job to kind of establishing as such. Right?
I feel like the rapey stuff was maybe a little bit too far for me, where I'm like, we get it, he's evil. He doesn't also have to be a freaking pervert.
Yeah.
But here we are. That we know just how evil he is.
I love Boris trying to remove all the motherboards to stop the trace. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, I like that. It shows that he is also realized. He must know that it's her, right? Because she's the only other person that escaped the facility. But he's still like in that moment is him sort of like relenting the fact that like, oh, maybe she is, if not like smarter than I thought, as smart as me, and that pisses him off beyond anything else, is that like no one else is allowed to be smarter than me or better than me at this job. And he holds on to it for the rest of the movie too. Every time he talks about her, he has this like, he's like dripping with disdain, and like she only works on the propulsion system. She doesn't even know what the fuck she's doing. I know what I'm doing. And he's wrong, and he can't handle that she's smarter than him, which I like because it shows how pathetic he is as a person.
It's great, which makes when he gets his comeuppance even better.
Yes, and oh boy, does he ever! And it's so funny. It's like one of those moments where I'm like, again, this is a cartoon all of a sudden, and I am down for it. Looks like something out of a Tim. Oh, who's that at the door?
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I've often been asked many things. How much you weigh? How much you bench? How much you squat? But really, I'm frankly insulted that I've only been asked once. Hey, did you see this one? You could probably justify that by having me back on the show, and I could easily answer that with subsequent episodes. I think it's frankly unfair and disgusting that I've only been on once. So please, listeners, watchers of Hey, Did You See This One? Ask for your favorite very large, very gay pro wrestler to be back on the show. Or I'll break Jason's legs next time I see him. It's up to you. Did you see this one?
I have to see him tomorrow night when
Thanks,
he's in the
Cam.
main event of Super Kick. Thank you,
I was
Sam.
wondering how long into the video he would say how gay he is.
I hope if anyone's going to Super Kick tomorrow, please start Break His Legs chants. Please, please.
Don't start that.
Maybe I should go and start it. Oh, who's that knocking at my
I've heard of Hey, have you seen this one? But hey, have you seen these 200 ones? Now you're just talking crazy. Congratulations, boys, and hopefully you'll watch 2,000 more. I don't know what the limit is here.
Thanks, Cam.
Thanks, Cam. Love you. Well, that's fine.
Okay, there's only a couple left. We can we can sprint to the finish.
They go to the Caribbean. Yeah, and like,
well, they go to.
They have sex. Nothing. This part doesn't really do much. This is also one of those moments in the movie. I'm like, I forget about it every time because it doesn't do anything for me mentally.
Honestly, what it feels like is like, well, you know, Natalia is she's respectable, so she isn't just gonna like, you know, sleep with Bond. She has to have a relationship with him. So we kind of have to show them in their, like, you know, relationship, even though all this stuff is happening in the background. They take a moment to kind of really bond. And no pun intended.
James Bond.
And spend some time together on like a little romantic little getaway. You know,
which is such a James Bond thing where they got to take the night before they go do their big adventure. They got to like have a date. And in this sequence, it's funny too, because they're in Cuba.
I think there's also an expectation, right? It's like guns, gadgets, girls. There has to be a sex scene or not a sex scene, because there's not really any sex scenes in James Bond movie. It's usually the beginning or aftermath of sex.
Yeah,
you know, pillow talk.
But they do have a charismatic back and forth where they talk about operating procedures, and she's like, how many operating procedures? And he says thousands, but I only pay them lip service, which I laughed out loud at. I know it's grown, but also I wrote, also they're now going to bang because James Bong, I wrote Bong, fucks.
Bong, James Bong.
James Bong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's not a bad scene. It's just a scene that I don't have a lot to say about it, but you know, it's a standard thing.
It could be yada yada through. Really,
it's one of those things where it's like there's an expectation for Bond movies to have this sequence of events in it, and this is that sequence of events. And you know,
yada yada. I mentioned the Goldeneye.
Yes, that's what. Never mind. I was gonna say something rude. Let's move on. Now they're in the jungle.
Really?
Wade.
You can tell me afterwards.
Wade brings more gear from Q. They discuss how Cuba can't have anything appear without the CIA knowing about it, which is a foreshadow for the fact that the Goldeneye antenna but the Goldeneye antenna exists underground and has to come out of the jungle floor. Natalia gives James what for being a killer. I think they bang again. I think they bang a couple times during the sequence. They're just having a romp.
Bang, bangity bang, bang, bang.
Then
bang.
They're flying around James Bond rips. I like that, actually. I think that's funny. And I'll operate your, worldwide. Oh, rehoot soup. It's too much.
There's so many soup jokes about Campbell. Sam Campbell.
Slam Campbell.
Also, didn't we invite him on a second time and he like sent us a recording of himself like reviewing it at the end or something? I can't remember.
So I tried to call him out on this. I was like, technically, you cancel. He's like, no, the world was ending, so I couldn't make it on. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know how to respond to that. Obviously, he's welcome back here anytime. But
yes, right,
he
that was like
supposed to be on a second time.
He needed to step in for something for wrestling, right? Like there was an emergency.
Yeah.
Okay. That's better than canceling. There's a lot of people that just cancel out of nowhere. That's not great.
We've only actually had one cancellation ever, too. So shout out to all in 200 episodes of this show and 100 episodes of having guests.
Everyone's pretty
we
good.
only had one person to actually cancel, and we had to pivot. But then Alex Gow came in and knew the movie
That
for
was
that
amazing,
week somehow.
We had an emergency where we didn't have anybody. And we would just like reached out to everybody that had been on, and happenstance Alex Gow watched the movie Mothman Prophecies a million times as a kid for some reason. Such a random movie to watch as a kid. That
We were gonna
my favorite movie.
Yeah.
me and Steve were going to that week. We're going to do Deadpool and Wolverine, and just like
we were gonna
smash an
cancel our
episode.
plans because we're like,
Yeah.
well, we watched this, we can talk about it. And then Alex Gow came out of nowhere, the Mothman himself. I've seen it 100 times. I know that movie in and out. And he, to his credit, knew it like the back of his fucking hand. He knew it better than us who had watched it that day.
Day. Yeah, it was great. So we just as an aside, for 200 episodes, we've been comically fortuitous to have such a great group of guests. You know, like
including you, Jamil. You are awesome too. We love you.
Yes, we had Jamil come on for probably one of the worst movies we've ever covered, and it's one of my favorite episodes we ever
It was a
did.
good episode. Yeah.
It was such a fun talk.
You guys
I
have
love
watched
Jamil so
the
much.
worst quality version of
Yeah,
the movie.
we
that-
watch it from
Like-
our Internet Archive.
Yeah,
love it.
Complete with like Miss Cleo commercials and all.
That's where the Miss Cleo commercial on our channel came from.
Anyway,
no.
we should get back to Goldeneye.
Right,
Talk. Yes, we appreciate all
so-
our guests. You guys are all amazing.
They're flying around in an airplane. They're looking for the dish. They get shot down. We get the escort mission from the game. They crash and pass out in the jungle. Awaken to find Xenia like dropping down on them. She beats his ass. She beats the fuck out of him. But she uses her power.
She's so good at beating him up that at one point Natalia tries to like smash her with a log, and she just fucking palms it and says, like, "Get the fuck out of here."
She's like,
I'm
wait
killing
your
this guy.
turn.
Yeah, you're
wait
next.
your turn,
Yeah.
licks her, and then hits her away while she's still squeezing James Bond. It's crazy.
James Bond, I don't think like in a fair fight where she wasn't killed by a helicopter, I think that she would have killed James Bond in this situation.
Yeah.
He was getting the shit kicked out of him, and also while she was fighting another person. So I think she's a very accomplished leg squeezer or whatever. But
yeah.
the way that he kills her is pretty cool, though. He reattaches her to the helicopter that dropped her off, and then shoots the pilot with a machine gun, and then she gets squished by being yanked on a. It's a pretty brutal death when you.
It's
think
pretty for what I thought was a PG-13 movie at this point. I was like, wow, her whole skeleton is being just fucking eviscerated right now.
Well, she always did enjoy a good squeeze, is what he
What?
said right after. Yeah. Yeah, she gets squeezed. She gets squeezed to death. She gets to experience what she had done.
Squeeze
To,
between the
two legs of a tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
She gets to experience. I assume, oh, there.
Oh my God. Steven, Jason, congratulations. Just wanted to send a little video along congratulating you guys for your 200,000th episode of Hey, Did You See This One? Hey, did you see this one? And I want to thank you for having me on when you have me on, and I hope to do it again. It's a good time. I got a lot of content to catch up. I didn't even realize we were that far along. I don't know where you guys find the time. That's a daily. You're doing multiple episodes a day, putting out those numbers. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Don't want to take up much of your time, but congratulations. I look forward to another 200,000 episodes, and I look forward to being on at least one or two of them again. That's great. Awesome. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Woo.
Thank you, Jared. You're
Thank
right. This is the
you.
200,000th episode, actually.
I like that he's a framed picture of Grogu in his house.
I didn't notice that.
That's funny.
So Janice and Boris raise the disc, the antenna, and the gang finds it. as it's going up. Janice has the Goldeneye. Really cool miniature of the base for the water disappearing. We talked about that a bit. But the structure seems to exist because they also run around like a certain...
Yeah, that's a real place.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up for this episode, but I have looked it up in the past. But yeah, it's a real thing. Also super impressive and cool set piece as well. I love when there's some kind of weird evil base. It's like, I'm always disappointed when there isn't a weird evil base in a James Bond movie. Sometimes they make up for it by having like a weird sword fight on a plane. I'm okay with that. But yeah,
there should be a lair.
There should always be a lair, and this is a good lair. This is on point with like Dr. No, and
especially when they show the inside of the lair. It's all the brick and the stone and like vats everywhere. Like it's so James Bond.
Also, this level in the game, like when you go into the labs there, like the GoldenEye computer labs, it really makes me think about how empty the game was. Like how you go into these areas and there was basically like 2 computers, but then you see the movie and there's like 40 computer analysts at different computers just typing away, doing whatever they're doing. But it is amazing that game was able to capture the essence of this movie so successfully in every aspect. Almost every location that you go to, it's like, wow, they really took their time to like be like, hey guys, can we get like photographs of this and like recreate it perfectly? Like even the staircases,
the set photos. Can we have the plans? We need a cut. Probably had the script itself under lock and key as well.
I'm curious how long they took to work on the game. Like, was it like they started before the movie, or did the movie come out and then they started? Like, how long did it take them?
Did they build the engine first and then like was able to slot it in a lot faster? Like,
because I think it was Rare, right? The company that made it. Rare. Yeah,
and this was like a big jump for them as a
and I mean I think it's one of the reasons that they're still a developer today, right? Like they're still around, and it's like this was I think the biggest success that they had at the time, and maybe that they've ever had over their career. I mean, like Perfect Dark came out using the same sort of mechanics and engine and everything, because they must have, because there wasn't really anything like GoldenEye before GoldenEye came out. Like there's obviously first-person shooters, but that changed the way people thought about having split screen multiplayer and stuff, right?
From a console perspective, it is the template. And there's like the perfect pairing with that system, a 4-player dedicated system, no multi-tap needed, the
it's the reason
kind of built to it.
Yeah, it's the reason that most people had 4 controllers,
So
that in Mario.
There's a kind of a famous story about how they rushed this game because they needed to coincide with the movie being out. I know it was after, but also
it came out 2 years after the movie came out.
But it was revolutionary for that fact, because the no game had the C buttons to look around. Like this was the first game to have a first-person shooter that looked around in 3D space. But also it was a really interesting feat to have it like coincide with a film like this. And also it was rushed. They wanted this game to be like a cornerstone of gaming. And
is this fact or is this opinion?
No, this is fact. This is fact. There's a famous story about, like, we've been kind of speculating and talking about, Jamil mentioned it a bit. It was like rushed, but it was rushed to the point, and Jamil mentioned this in the actual pre-show, that the shortcuts that they took actually made the game better because they had to innovate. They had to innovate on the fly to make the game that much better. But the biggest thing is the C buttons on the N64 controller that allowed you to look around in 3D space was a brand new thing, because I think the on PC, the most recent game at the time would have been like Heretic, and then like what was the thing after Doom?
Quake.
Quake was like the next
Nukem. No, I'm just kidding.
To be able to look around, and Duke Nukem right after this as well. Duke Nukem, you were able to look around, but it didn't feel natural to play games like that because we were used to Doom. Then you looked forward, and your bullets would kind of go towards the thing you were shooting. This game innovated the idea of being able to like look around in 3D space. So
I never used the C buttons.
I did, and
I
that's you know, you got an edge up on your friends who couldn't use the C buttons
because you could hold down a button when you weren't
And then
moving.
kinda-
True.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then look around with the joystick. But
I was a weird pervert like your dad, where I 100%ed this game on every difficulty back then. And you
I
had
used to get mad
literally-
because my dad sometimes he would forget to make his own file, and then so I would
Oh,
go in
that
and
was-
he would complete everything. I'm like,
How do you do
dude,
this on master level or whatever?
no, I was mad because he
00
beat
agent.
the game, and like because in that game you didn't know what the next level was until you beat the one before it, so it was
Mhm.
like spoilers. I would just see everything. He did that on a couple of video games. I'm still sore about it to this day. I just looked up the release date of the game because I wanted to see if it coincided with the release of the Nintendo 64 because it came out in 1997 as well, but it actually came out a couple months after the console came out. Interesting
Imagine,
stuff.
like from my point of view, imagine playing Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64, and then the new first-person shooter comes out, and it just breaks the way your mind works even more so. Because the N64 and even the PlayStation 1 really changed like what a video game could be during that era. And I think that PlayStation 1 did a lot for innovating like a lot of different sort of game styles, but the N64 had that weird controller and they had the one analog stick, and the way that you held the controller is kind of like the way we all hold controllers now, more so. Like you're really in tune with
It was also
buttons on the
closer
right.
to like a classic joystick than like
A joystick,
an analog stick, because it was like very thin and tall and weird. It was such a stupid controller. That controller was a piece of shit.
I loved it. And I'll
I
never
will
forget
agree
trying to
with
play Mario 64 the first time.
Mario-
I'll never forget
Well,
trying to
Mario
play
Party, where it was like a built-in obsolescence because Nintendo designed a video game that would fuck your controller up, so they would sell more controllers.
The next game that would fuck with my brain the way that Mario 64 did would be literally Grand Theft Auto 3, where the first time I played GTA 3, I couldn't even as a fucking 14-year-old, I couldn't even how does any of this work? But then it's so it's so much ingenuity and so much intuition that went into creating those games that it just creates new synapses in your brain. Yeah.
It looks so empty. Grand Theft Auto 3 is so empty.
Yeah.
When looking back, seeing what GTA 5 is and what GTA
Yeah.
6 will be. But
There's a guy
even
on-
so,
Yeah.
you can run that game on basically anything.
Yeah.
It's still really smooth, right?
You could
it
probably run
has
it on
lot
a
of
fridge. You know those fridges that have like a digital display? You could probably play Grand Theft Auto on
But you
The
can
amount
run
of
Doom on a
content
fucking
in that
pregnancy
game, though, is
test.
still
so.
crazy. GTA 3, the content in it still is amazing to this day, the amount that it has it. And a lot of games, modern games, don't have as great as a campaign as that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy on TikTok, I think, where he just he explores the desolate plains of GTA 3, where he revisits areas that are just essentially wastelands. Like he's on the beach and there's just nothing. And then he compares it to the trailer for the gameplay footage of Grand Theft Auto 6 and how the beaches are packed and dense with towels and people and boats. And then you see Grand
I
Theft
think
Auto
that
3 and it's this gray.
The traffic in GTA 6 is going to be like a meme because of how frustratingly realistic it's going to be. I think that's going to be a thing.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm I know a lot of people are excited for it, but I've only ever completed one Grand Theft Auto game. So I might just not get it. I don't know.
I've beaten all of them to the point that the only one I didn't beat was 4, and I just bought it.
You know what?
on,
That's not
Xbox
right. I've
last
beaten
night.
2 of them. I beat Vice City and I beat Grand Theft Auto 5. And
Okay.
I really liked Grand Theft Auto 5. So if it's more of the same with that, I didn't beat 4, I didn't beat 3, I didn't beat San Andreas. I just did I got bored of them. There's too much to do, and I didn't care. The story was not compelling.
Imagine
you have the right perspective. In my opinion, GTA is not a game to beat. It's a game to play until you don't want to play it anymore.
Yeah,
That's it.
It
That's
didn't
the
feel
serious.
because a lot of games I want to beat them. I want to do everything you can do, but those particular games, other than Vice City and Grand Theft Auto 5. I think that 5 was just really compelling to me because I thought all
Yeah.
three characters were really interesting, and I was invested in all of them, and they're sort of like the dynamic between them and how the story evolves through those characters. And I legitimately was interested in everything about it.
I think 6 is going to be more like 5, and
Probably. I mean, they did.
I think it's going to
they came up with
innovate
very
in a similar way that GoldenEye did for video gaming to bring it back. I think it's going to be like they took so long to make it, and they're still making it. It hasn't gone even gold yet. Like that's going to be one of those games where the internet's like GTA 6 has gone gold, which means like it's on a disc, it's ready to be mass produced. But
anyway,
back to it, they
talk
get
about
shot at. They get shot at breaking in and fall into the dish, which was a great scene of them sliding. They arm the Goldeneye to shoot London.
Looks fun, sliding down that dish.
Yeah. They fight through this complex. They get held up by a million guards again, much like the very beginning of the movie. But there's a detonation mine and liquid leaking. But the detonation mine gets deactivated when Janice is like, "Oh, you let me look at that watch you got there. Oh, it's the same watch." And he deactivates.
Yeah, he knows what Bond's up to, but the watch distracts from the pen, which is the sort of the real danger in the situation, and also the resolution to this entire situation. But I also do like that he tells Natalia, "Stay here," and then he goes and gets into a gunfight, and then he looks, and she's already like, "Fuck off!" And she leaves, and she's like, "I'm gonna go solve the problem that we're having right now."
Yeah, I'm gonna stand here and just like not be a part of this. No, I'm going to.
And she does utilize her knowledge of both this fucking pervert Boris. She's able to hack his system because he's always making dumb puns or jokes or word games as his passwords instead of making it something hard to crack like a series of random numbers and letters. This guy,
as a hacker, should know better.
Yeah, exactly. My password is Schlong, James Schlong. And she goes and hacks the satellite and uses her knowledge, the stuff that she was an expert in, which is the trajectory system, and she fucks with it to basically make the satellite fall into orbit to destroy it, which is like super smart. Like she doesn't know everything about it, but she knows how to do this one thing very well.
I also like on James Bond's side of things, like he fucks with Janice to the point that he calls him like a bank, like he's like a bank robber. You know, he calls him a common thief.
Yeah.
And then fucking he goes into a full-on James Bond style villain speech about how, you know, I always knew my parents were killed because of this cause. I always knew that I was going to turn on you guys. And then Boris gets the pen. Boris has the pen. I wanted to ask you guys because I missed something. How does Boris end up with the pen?
Okay, so the Trevelyan takes all of Bond's shit that's on him, his gun, his watch, and he takes the pen, and he says, "How is Q, by the way?" He knows it's a Q pen, but he doesn't know what it does. And then when Boris gets fucking bodied by Natalia, he falls into the pile of Bond's stuff, and the pen falls down, and he drops his pen but picks up James Bond's pen instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bond is doing some serious counting during those clicks.
Yeah, he's counting the clicks the whole time.
Yeah.
And
I would lose count.
The editing was funny for this point because it keeps cutting back to Pierce Brosnan going,
yeah. And Sean Bean is like, "What the fuck is he? What are you looking at?"
Yeah, what are you looking at?
What are you doing?
He should know better. He should know better.
You'd think that he would know that pen is something dangerous if Q made it.
But he manages to count the clicks. He pushes Boris at the last second, and the fucking pen goes flying and explodes. And then all hell breaks loose. We get a classic Bond, James running to the antenna after Natalia like fakes being knocked out, and he pops out from around the corner, which I thought was funny. Then they run up to the antenna. I always thought the antenna was the Goldeneye, as a note that I wrote here. Boris finishes the hack. James Bond throws a piece of metal into the gears as he finishes the hack. So now we have the thing of like the antennas like
can't
stuck, which is great. Then they fight. They have a 1v1 fucking shootout. There's that
really
great
interesting
moment.
location to fight too. Like
it's
on
so
the
good.
bottom of
It's
a
so cool.
satellite that's like so tiny on a ladder. It's just like it's ironically it feels super claustrophobic considering it's like the most open you can possibly like area you can possibly be in. I think it's just the size of that platform and the fact that they're isolated to this ladder gives me this like anxious feeling that you would get if you're like locked in a small space, even though
Well,
fast open.
his last ditch is to kick out the ladder like underneath him and go down the ladder.
Yeah.
And then Trevelyan goes down the ladder after him. They have that like moment that we talked about earlier where he rolls down the ladder, which was like clearly not sideways, but it's fine. But they get down to the
Here we
smallest.
go, Jason and his nitpicking.
They get down to the smallest disc you've ever seen that two people could stand on.
That's what
and
I'm
they're
talking
just
about. That's the part
wailing
that gives me
on each other.
claustrophobia. Yeah, like I'm just
Yeah.
I'm like feeling anxious about the size of this thing. But Trevelyan is just kicking the shit out of him, and then tiny distraction gives all Bond needs is the helicopter coming up and Natalia being inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he flips Trevelyan over his shoulder, throws him off the edge, grabs him by his foot, and Trevelyan's like, "Oh, this guy's maybe more honorable than I thought he is." But Bond is like, "No, okay."
You'll see the line.
Is this my good side? Is this my good side? Maybe I don't have good sides. Do you know what is good though? Hey, did you see this one? Best podcast. They've got like 200 episodes. Congratulations. 200. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Honestly. Congrats, guys. Best podcast. Yep, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's why I like being on it. 200. Fuck. Good job, guys. It's not a big deal. It's big.
Thanks, Noel.
Thanks,
Noel was
Noel.
at the local library. That's why they were being so quiet.
Yeah. I wanted to get Noel's last I wanted to get that's the end of the videos. I didn't mean to cut you off, Steve, but I wanted to just because right when you said that he's hanging by the foot, I thought that would be the perfect moment for Noel to be like, "Hey guys."
And it's kind of like when Noel's on the show, interrupting. No, just kidding.
Yes. No, that's exactly why I did that.
Sure. So he's holding him by the foot, and then he said he does the "For England" line again or whatever, but like you think maybe for a minute Bond is going to save him just because Bond's a good guy, but Bond's like, no, I just wanted to say one thing to you, and that is get fucked, and then drops into his death.
He says, "For London, right, Bond?" And he's like, "For me," and drops him, and he falls, and he hits the ground, and his leg fucking breaks backwards. And what we find out is that he actually was alive for a second, but in those last moments, as Bond blows up the whole shit, the whole thing comes right down on him. So there's no way that he ever comes back. He's dead.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, Sean Bean did die? Oh. Yeah,
Nope,
you
there
go.
it is. Yeah.
And I wrote the whole place explodes per Bond rules.
As per the Bond rules.
Yeah. Felt right on his eye. But also there's a funny moment where inside the place Boris yells his victory cry, "I am invincible." But the explosive barrels behind him are not flame; they're ice. He gets frozen.
They're liquid nitrogen. Yeah. I guess it's like to keep all the computers cold. I was like, why would that be there?
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's like overheating the computers is probably the coldest thing. But yeah, this is like a weird Tim Burton thing or something, or like something out of like a weird cartoon movie. But I like it. It's funny and creepy. It's like a good balance of like horrifying and funny at the same time. Turns out he wasn't invincible, folks, unless they defrost him and he's still alive. And he's like, "I am invincible. So cold,
but my legs are frozen. Please amputate."
I'm pretty sure that would kill you instantly.
Yeah.
So,
and
that's the end of the movie. The
Well,
CIA show
not
up
quite.
and then they kiss and then they leave. in the movie.
They're about to bang, and Bond. It's like there's nobody alive for 25 miles, and then all of the CIA people. Wade shows up, and then there was people there all along,
The whole
which
time.
which made me wonder, like, why didn't they help at all if there were so many guys?
They
Wasn't
probably
their jurisdiction.
They were plan B, so they were like, "You're plan A, and if you failed, then we would have run in and tried to stop them." But if Bond failed, then Bean's plan would have succeeded. So, oh my God!
There was just one more person that needed to wish us well. I know you had to take your headphones off for that, and I apologize. I just thought that would be funny for me, mostly.
I hope it was.
Too many
wasn't that-
clicks asked.
it
I
was
was like,
so
what
long.
is this?
That was only
Nightmare
30.
Fuel.
So we had people come on this show today and talk for 2 minutes, and that 35 seconds was the longest 35 seconds of my life. I apologize. This is the last episode of this show because of that. It's been nice knowing all of you. 200 episodes of hated to see this one, but that's the end of the movie. I think
Yes.
we did it.
They do a freeze frame, which is great. Didn't expect that. But I mean, they do that in a lot of Bond movies. I think they did it in the last Dalton movie too, after that fish winks at you.
Yeah, but that was good. I liked it when the fish winked at me. It implied that the fish had been there the whole time.
I wish it was the weird fish with the human face, but it was just a regular fish.
Should we talk about our final thoughts?
Yes, let's do our Home Alone of it all.
If you had to pick one,
But what do you think the Home
when
Alone of it
is
all
the
is?
Home Alone of it all?
Can someone please tell me when the Home Alone?
I
of it
really
all
gotta
is?
know.
When is the Home Alone of it all?
What is the Home Alone of it all? Now that's the Home Alone of it all.
If you haven't been here 200 times, which I suspect you have not, the Home Alone of it all is the idea that in the movie Home Alone, there's a moment in that movie where Kevin McAllister goes back home after seeing some choir people sing a song to indicate that he has to defend his home from Harry and Merv. And when he does that, we've posited on this show for 5 years that could be the best part of the movie. So every part of every movie, every part of one, hold on, I'll get there.
There is a part
There's
in
one
each movie
part
that
of
has
every
this, yes.
movie. Yes, it could be your favorite part of the movie. It could be the part we're all there to see. It could be the third act, whatever it is. The Home Alone of it all. Your final thoughts and a rating that you give it is now time for what you have to do. No, man, English is just not my first language right now. Jameel, based on all of what I just said, you've been on the show before.
Yeah, based on this riddle I've presented to you.
Yeah.
Yes. So
tell us all about it.
Okay, the Home Alone of it all is the tank scene. It really ramps up the energy for the latter half of the movie. You have that incredible scene at the intro that's supposed to get you into the movie. This really, like, after all the exposition, really kicks off, right? The movie itself, I felt, in the action. This is where you felt like, okay, James Bond is unstoppable. This is, he's going to get his man. He's going to solve the things with the things and the things and get the thing. Right?
Yes.
So that's the Home Alone of it all. This movie, I already said before, it's my favorite Bond movie. It's great. And it's not even just a great Bond movie, it's a great movie overall. Right? And that's where a lot of people, I feel, it's underrated in that respect. People should look at it that it's greater than just the genre that it's in. Now, rating. Not bad, only good. World Mine giving such great insights. Ratings. Ooh, geez, I'm always terrible at ratings. Um, um, folks, right? 10 is perfect. Rare to find a movie that's perfect. 5 is okay. Don't underestimate a 5, right? But this is a solid 7.
All right. Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. How about you, Steven?
This is a hard one for me. I usually have a pretty clear moment in a movie that is my favorite, but I find it very difficult to actually pick one. I think the Tank is a really solid choice, but I think like right out the gate, this movie has me so locked in that like I'm shook up by how good that opening sequence is. And I don't know if any other moment in the movie is better, but it ramped me up so hard that I was like at this energy level throughout the entirety of the movie. And I was just excited, even during moments that are a lull or sort of a moment for us to catch your breath. I was still kind of maintaining a level of excitement because of how good everything is. And even like, we briefly touched on how they're breaking down James Bond as a character and introducing the idea of misogyny as a concept in the world of James Bond, rather than having him just be a womanizing piece of shit the entire time. He's being forced to think about it, and so are we as the audience. And it's like refreshing. This wasn't just like a new James Bond actor. It was a sort of like a new perspective on how to look at James Bond as a character. And like there's still a lot of the the problematic behavior from James Bond himself, but like the movie is aware of it, where it's not kind of promoting it as something good. It's also showing you that it's a character flaw. It's not one of his strengths, guys.
Mhm.
The action is so good. The Bondism, Jason, you were getting a little bit. I think you're getting tired of his one-liners throughout, which is fair, and I can understand why. But like, I don't even care. I love it. And I don't know. I think it might be my favorite James Bond movie, but I also, I love the Brosnan era in general. I just think it's all a perfect balance of wacky, weird, and James Bond coolness. There might be a shift of opinion once we get through all of them, but right now, as far as it goes for the ones that we have covered on this show, I think it's this and then Man with the Golden Gun slightly below it. And I'll keep that where I'm at until I change my mind. But yeah, I think that was mostly my Home Alone, and or I didn't really pick one. Okay, opening sequence. That's my Home Alone. It's just that beginning sequence, but the movie as a whole is solid. It's great. I love it. It is the movie that got me into James Bond in general and opened up the doors into like the grand world of 16 other James Bond movies for me to watch at the time. Now, whatever, we're at like 26 or something. My rating, I'll say that this movie gives you a solid squeeze, and it doesn't let go for your whole life. It's squeezing you your whole life, and you love every second of it, you pervert.
Very good. Because it affected me so much as a kid, my Home Alone at all was
every time Xenia's squeezing somebody.
We'll get to that in a second. It was Natalia pretending to be knocked out in the Peter Griffin pose. Well, James Bond comes around.
I don't even know what a Peter Griffin pose is, but
the Peter Griffin pose is like when he smashes through a table. When he smashes through a table and his arms over his back.
Okay,
yeah. But he goes up, and then the whole sequence with the antenna has always affected me. I love that whole sequence so much. I think that it's a traditional Home Alone of it all in that respect as well, because we're all there to see him get his comeuppance against Janice. My final thoughts are basically that this movie affected me so much from a video game standpoint that I can't. It's so they're so interlocked. It's you can't have one without the other. And rewatching it now as an adult, I got so much out of it that it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Again, 30 years later. I think that everything about it works. I think from start to finish, there's no dull points. I really love seeing James Bond in a tank, being a goofy Gus. I really like seeing a train be utilized in a James Bond movie in a different way than we've seen trains be utilized. I think the cinematography is fucking outstanding. I think the portrayal of James Bond by Pierce Brosnan is outstanding. I think the Bond girl is outstanding. I think the villain being also sort of a Bond girl is outstanding. I think that Sean Bean's portrayal of the James Bond villains usually have to have a thing about them as well, but it's usually subdued. I think his thing of being like
Nazi
burned burned by society and then also burned by literal fire and becomes Two-Face, fucking fantastic. I give this movie a 5 out of 5, a rare 5 out of 5. Had to break the scale for this one. I give this movie a strawberry kiss.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
It's great.
All right. Sorry, I was thrown off by your rating system this week.
It's out of control. I rated like every James Bond movie a 4 for some reason. It doesn't make any sense. None of my ratings make any sense. But that said, Jamil, thank you for coming on the show.
Always a pleasure.
I fucking love you,
Thank you
brother.
so much. Yeah. We should have you back on again sooner rather than
very
later.
soon. I think for Sam Jackson in December, I think you're top of the list.
Oh yeah,
but,
if you want to, we're gonna probably do a special episode where people can just cycle in and watch us
Yeah.
spin the wheel to see what Sam Jackson movies we're gonna pick.
Spin the wheel, make a deal.
We did it for Nicolas Cage last year, and we were thinking about doing Cage again, but we're like, well, maybe we'll pick someone else who's been in a lot of stuff that we like, and Sam Jackson was next on the list.
I legit I don't know if you know the show on YouTube and such called Pop the Balloon or
sure.
where like there's women who or men who
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
pop the
Yeah.
balloon. And like they walk in, they ask questions, and they pop their balloon, or the love interest pops a balloon. There was a Snow Bunny episode,
Okay.
which was
I know what that means.
utterly fantastic. And basically, one of the women alluded to Black Snake Moan
Oh, my
Okay.
situation, and I'm like,
That's gonna end
wow.
up as one of the movies for sure. I'm calling
It's
it
not
now.
a bad movie. It's
It
good.
isn't
And
a bad movie,
and
it's
his
just
performance is
hilarious.
great. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we'll see, because we ended up with a lot of weird Nicolas Cage as well, but we're gonna select a bunch and then we're gonna do like a voting tier system again, probably. Yeah, so we'll see. If the viewers want us to watch Black Snake Moan, we will watch Black Snake Moan.
True.
Yeah.
Should we talk about our plugs?
Oh, sure. Why the heck not?
All right, let me just plug this in right here and.
Well, it's that time of the show where we talk about the projects that we have going. It's the 200th time that we're going to be doing this. Hopefully not the last. But Jamil, I couldn't remember your currency podcast from the beginning of the show, but I'd like you now to tell us what you're working on, brother.
Okay, I'm currently on a podcast with my fiance. We did our first episode earlier this year, and which we released with much promise. Second episode, kind of, but third episode is currently being edited and should be coming to everyone's ears as soon as I finish editing, whenever that may be. So True Currency podcast, pop culture podcast, where we just talk about pop culture in general. I'm also on the Supermator Brothers podcast, reviewing Survivor every Sunday. And then occasionally popping in wherever the Jamil signal is shot up into the sky. So it might be Live Long and podcast for an eventual Star Trek TNG episodes, usually the worst ones. got a worst episode, I'm usually on it. So that's my plugs right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. You're welcome back here anytime. Come back to the couch. You're always a great guest, and I thought that we had a very lively and spirited conversation about Goldeneye. It was my favorite episode of this month.
Me too.
But yeah, thank you so much, Steve. What do you got cooking up on your old back burner?
Well, as always, I am the voice of Darth Theorist as well as the Three-Eyed Theorist, 2 YouTube channels in which I am a narrator for stories, and as well as a character actor for a bunch of characters, all the characters, in fact. But other than that, we also have fully released Stanland. There's actually a vote going on right now for the what is it for? Actually, I'm not 100% certain. There's a vote going on which you should all sign up and vote for that particular podcast as your favorite. Let me see if I can find the details here. Sorry, I should have been prepared.
Benson.
It is. It is the Signal Awards. So you can. There's a bunch of different podcasts that are listed for the Signal Award, and Stanland is one of them. Stanland is a 5-part audio miniseries that is predominantly comedic in nature, and it's sort of like a storytelling podcast. And I play a couple of characters in that, but I've also been editing bonus episodes of that you can get through subscription to Apple, and it's basically, if you subscribe, you can listen to these other episodes as well. And I play one of the main characters in those 3 episodes, and I did all the sound editing for it, so you should check it out if you can. It's pretty funny. I play an orc called Ukla, and we're playing D&D basically, but it's fun and it's funny, so please check it out. But that's pretty much it for me. I'm going to be on Live Long and Podcast for October 2nd as well. I'm going to be talking about an episode of Star Trek on that podcast as well, so check that out.
Awesome.
Love Star Trek. It's my first time on, so I'm excited. The episode I got, not particularly a great episode, but sometimes those ones are the most fun to talk about.
Always the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks, Steve. What's the it's called like Dumpsters and Dummies? What's the spinoff called?
Dumpsters and Deadbeats is the
Dumpsters and Deadbeats.
Yeah.
I actually do a voice in the 2nd episode of the spinoff. I'm very proud and pleased to be able to do that as a part of the Sonar Network. In addition to that, I'd like to talk about this podcast. You can find us each and every week right here on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. I would just like to take a moment and thank everybody who has been here since the beginning. There are a few people that have actually seen the first episode of this show and have seen this episode of this show. So I'd like to thank everybody who's been through this ride with us. We've had a lot of growth on this channel in the last couple of years. We've had a lot of people who have stuck by us, and I really just I can't believe that I did 200 of anything in my life. And my co-host Stephen Waters is the fucking best fucking co-host I could possibly have. I love you so much, man. You fucking, you're the my yang. I think that we have a dynamic that is unprecedented in podcasting. I think that we bounce off each other in a great way. And I would like to thank you specifically in this moment, because I fucking love you, dude.
Thank you. It's fun. That's why we do it every week.
Why we do it every week.
It's one of my favorite parts of the week. Sometimes I dread it, but as soon as we start, I'm always having fun. It's always fun. There's never been a bad episode.
There's never been a bad episode, and I specifically haven't had any dread towards this podcast in a long time. I know what you mean. There's at 2 p.m. on a fucking Thursday, it's like, oh.
It's mostly when I haven't watched the movie yet.
Yeah.
Thursday, I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta watch the movie still.
But if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have such things like our Grimoire Familiar Killers t-shirt that you can buy, We wouldn't have our Kill Aid t-shirt that you can buy. You wouldn't have Tinkerbell, the t-shirt you can put on your shirt. You wouldn't be able to have the Zardos t-shirt or the Corporal Tunnel Syndrome t-shirt, which is closely related to this month from our last James
I guess
Bond
I have to
month.
draw the guy with the glass eyes or whatever I said earlier.
Yes. Well, when does Howie Mandela effect become canon to our James Bond situation? And if you want, and I didn't pull it up, but Michael Chan, who graciously gave us a video for this, he bought the Elders Millennial shirt on purple, which I would recommend buying it on.
The color
This is
he
something
got
you can buy as well.
rules. It works
It looks
really well.
so fucking cool. I want it myself. Like, I'm going to buy that shirt.
You should.
Just to be a little selfish for a moment, I am also the announcer for Superkick Pro Wrestling here in Toronto. We have a big show coming up tomorrow night on the 26th called Superkick Back at It Again. You may see some familiar faces on this poster. But we have Durag and Psycho Mag, Dior Nollins and Alessandro Del Bruno. Dallas Kyle goes up against, of course, somebody who knows. Kingsley and Taylor Rising. A four-way scramble. I think that is going to be a four-way scramble, six-way scramble, but the main event is Jesse V defending against friend of the show, guest of the show, fan of the show, Slam Campbell. And I'm very excited for this tomorrow night. Go to superkick.ca to buy tickets. Tickets are, even though we sell out, here's a little inside baseball. We just jam-pack that place. It never truly sells out. It sells out in that the fire police will come and tell you to stop putting people in that building. Yep, that's what I'm calling them. They'll say, stop putting people in that building. Stop putting people inside there because there's too many people. We're not going to. Infinite people. Let's see what happens. 350 people, 450 people.
This is how you get the fire police to show up.
But I'd also like to promote Jameel Robinson because fuck yeah, brother.
Thanks for
I'm gonna
coming.
talk about video games with you, man. I want to talk about video games with you.
You know how many times there's been like, we're gonna start a video game podcast. Talk to Murphy, talk to Jody. Right? I'm like, look, whenever you guys are ready to, I'm down.
Me and Murphy and I have been fucking working on a wrestling podcast this whole time too.
I've been playing a lot of Helldivers with Chris actually the last couple of weeks.
I've jumped in a couple times to watch you all.
Oh, right. Oh yeah, he streams it sometimes. Yeah.
But with that said, Jameel, you've been here before. There's only one question that needs to be asked that we have to ask each and every week, and I'd like to ask you to ask it for us now. Thank you for 200 episodes also.
Hey, did you see this one?
Had so many people give us well wishes. I don't know how to react. I feel so elated.
It's very nice. I'm surprised so many people did.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
I think all of them were beautiful and all of them were so funny, but I think that guy who what was his name? Latimer,
yeah.
Oh my god.
Nick Latimer. Yeah.
That was so fucking good.
The kind of thing that sticks with you.
He added music.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to jump off. I have to call my mom. She's traveling back, flying in, and
beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.
I didn't do fucking shit. I didn't fucking do this. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about any of this.